All right, we're live. Let me just set up everything here for those watching it. Let me restart so I can see the comments as well. And I think we're good. Not much happening right now. Should be live. Yes, I think we are. What is up, everyone? Thank you so much. Let me just, let me move the camera here so I can see myself. Boom, we're live. Okay, now we are in business, guys. Yes. Thank you so much for joining me here on today's YouTube live stream. This is going to be our summer sit down. I'm super excited. How is everyone doing? William Spire, Voes, Jeezy, what's up? Tamzid, Vanny Carter, Alex Zubu, Charlie. I can read off names all day. Duck, Chasey Chan, Dylan. Thank you guys so much for being part of this. Like I said, this is our summer sit down, and the whole purpose of this live hangout today is just to catch up with you guys. What have you guys been up to this summer? First off, how's my audio? Is my audio okay? I'm always a little unsure, but I think it's okay. But please give me a shout out. Noel Thomas, that's your shout out. What's up? Everyone joining in. I'm super excited to have you guys here. I think this is going to be a really fun session. I want to dive into questions as soon as possible. Before I do that, I do want to say though that if you're excited for this live stream, hit the thumbs up button. Let me know what you guys think. If you're ready to just go through things and to talk things out. So, yeah. So like I said, the purpose of this is this YouTube live stream essentially is to go over talk about what you guys have been going through throughout the summer. What's your summer been like? Have you been sitting at home all day, really doing nothing? Have you been interacting with people? Have you been reading books? Have you been traveling? What has your summer been like? I really want to hear from you guys because I know we're getting ready to go back to school soon, right? Like school is not that far away. It's like, at the beginning of summer, you're like, man, I got so much time. And then you realize, hey, I really don't. Once you're in the middle of it, you're like, okay, I'm coming to the tail end of things now. So I think that's where we kind of are. Now we're heading towards the tail end of summer. And people, everyone wants to try to figure out, okay, what can I do to kind of prepare myself to go back to school and to talk to my crush? I think that's a big one. To do good in school, to do better this year. Just try your hardest to just do a little better this year, and to not feel nervous and scared and to not doubt yourself. I think that's a big thing. A lot of people kind of doubt themselves going forward. So I want to jump into the questions. I do think that we're going to get through a lot of questions today. It is really hot in this room, so I have the window open. But I don't think it's affecting the audio. I don't think you hear all the birds chirping and the wind blowing outside. So let's jump into some questions. I'm going to pick it up from right where it is right now. And let's see. So Epic Cupcake got a girlfriend. Awesome stuff, Epic Cupcake. I'm happy for you, man. How have things been this summer between you and your girlfriend? Have you been able to see her? Are you guys spending summer alone and you're going to get back together during school? What's your situation been like? I'm really curious to know. But I'm in England. DeMarco's the mod, right? Let me just make sure. Yeah. DeMarco's now moderator. Yeah, I don't know why he wasn't a moderator before. All right, DeMarco, you're 100% set as a moderator now. Summer hasn't started yet for Thomas Dolan. Yeah, no, summer is different for everyone, right? So summer and summer vacation is kind of this bigger, widespread thing. I know over people in Australia, their summer and our winter is kind of flipped. So that's an interesting thing. But okay, so let's get right into the questions here. I see something interesting. So Voez says, do you think it's a good idea to get a job after school? I'm a sophomore and I don't have any income to do much. Okay, so that's a good question. I think that it all depends on what you want to do, right? So as a sophomore, you're going to want to go out to eat after school sometimes with your friends. You're going to want to buy things, maybe clothes, maybe video games, all these different things. And you don't want to have to rely on the dependency of always going to your parents and saying, okay, can I have some money to get this? Can I have some money to get that? Having your own sense of income, having your own money to work with makes things so much easier. So should you get a job? The answer is yes, only if you feel that you can balance working along with school, right? You're a sophomore in high school right now, right? I'm assuming in high school. You're a sophomore, and what's most important is to focus on your grades, to work hard to graduate, because when you graduate, then you'll be able to find a college or jump right into a job that you want to do, and that's when your income's really going to pick up. So making an income right now is secondary, and it should be secondary to school if you have that ability to. So, ask yourself, will I be able to manage a job and still focus and do well in school? That should be the question you should have. If you feel the answer is yes, then go for it, man. Get a small job. work in a corner store, work in a pizza shop, help lift boxes, do something you can just to generate a little bit of income so you can get the things that you want. You don't have to rely on, let's say, your parents or family or anyone else to kind of have to give you money for them. Okay, let's keep moving down. Nassim Luchmachi asks, what's my favorite movie? So my favorite movie of all time is probably I Heart Huckabees. I don't know if a lot of you guys know what movie that is, but it's an existential comedy. So it's a comedy movie that kind of explores the idea of existentialism and why are we here and what's our purpose and is everything interconnected. It's a really funny movie. Check it out. I Heart Huckabees. So yeah, my favorite movie of all time. Let's see. Oh, Joe Henry has an interesting question. How to stop thinking about killing yourself. So Joe, you put a smiley face there. I don't know if you're trolling or not, but I think it's a serious question that a lot of people do have. So I will answer that one. If you feel like you're having thoughts of suicide constantly, right? It's like you wake up and you kind of feel depressed, or you interact with people and you just feel a sense of emptiness, or just sometimes you just don't feel like you're good enough. You don't feel like you have what it takes or that you even have a value or purpose in this life. That's a very common feeling for some people, right? And it doesn't make you bad or wrong for thinking or feeling that way. And I think what it comes down to really is if you are thinking about killing yourself, the best thing you can do, there's 2 steps here. The first step, the best thing that you can do is to talk to someone about it, right? Opening up and sharing the way that you feel with a friend, a family member, someone is so crucial, because at least having someone know that you're going through something is so important, because you don't have to go through it alone. You don't have to just sit with your thoughts. You at least can let them out and share them with someone that you know. And plus, if you ever feel you're in such a low, deep down, dirty state, you always have someone that you can contact that you can feel safe talking to, right? So if you open up to, let's say, a friend, and you tell your friend, listen, sometimes I feel suicidal, and I just wanted to tell you and share that with you just so that you know a little bit more about me. If you're ever having a day where you're feeling very, very down, you know that that's a friend that you can always turn to and talk to and rely on. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing to do. That's step 1. Step 2 is talk to your parents, talk to your friends, talk to your teacher, anyone you can, and see if you can start speaking to a therapist or a counselor, right? Generally in schools, they have a therapist that you can speak to, which is free, and it's always a good first step. But definitely talking to a professional, talk to a friend or family member to let them know what's going on. Talk to a professional so you can work through those feelings. Maybe it is a matter of getting the right kind of medication to help you deal with it. Maybe you just need to process your thoughts in order to move through them. A therapist will help you kind of work through those stages. So open up to a friend so that you're not alone, and then talk to a therapist so that you have professional help to get you through it. Those would be my 2 steps with there. Now, guys, I know the chat's going crazy right now. A lot of people are asking questions. Here's what I want you to know, that generally how this works is that I kind of go through the chat question by question, right? I feel like that's the most fair thing. I don't want to skip over anyone. So I try to go through question by question. There will be times that I do accidentally skip over someone. That's usually when the chat jumps, and then it's just too much work to try to go back. There is a way to get your question boosted ahead above everyone else and just front and center in front of me, and that's the super chat function. If you're watching this on your phone, on the bottom where the chat is, there should be a little $sign icon. If you click on the $sign icon, you can pretty much donate to the super chat. It could be $1 or $2, $5, whatever it is. And if you donate to the super chat through the super chat, your question will pop up on the top. And what I'll do is I'll answer super chat questions above all the other questions. So if you have something that's really burning and really pressing and you really want me to see it and you want me to answer it now, I'd say the super chat is going to be your best bet. Otherwise, I'm going to go through the chat one by one. So, I hit the thing. Thank you guys for being a part of this. I got water this time. You see, I'm already starting to sweat. I have lights set up here so that my face is a little bit more evenly lit, because otherwise this whole side of my face will be like red because the light in this room doesn't work like that. Okay. It's Jake Music. Hey, Jake, it's good to see you again, man. I love seeing you in the chats. How to stop thinking. Oh, no, I read that already. I asked the girl I like to the Ed Sheeran concert near my birthday. That's awesome, dude. What did she say? Is she down to go? Was she excited for it? Serrano says, how do you DM a girl you don't know? That's a good question, Serrano. So when it comes to DMing someone, or even just starting a conversation with someone you don't know, there's always that kind of awkward pause where it's like, well, how do I approach this? What do I say? I don't want to sound like a creep. These are probably a few things that are running through your mind. I think a good way to go about it is instead of shooting directly for the direct message, it's like, all right, think about it like this. if you are at a party, right, and someone is kind of walking into the party, putting their jacket on, and they don't know who you are, and you kind of walk up to them and say, hey, as they're taking their jacket off, they're going to be like, whoa, dude, I don't know you. What do you want? You know, they're still getting acclimated to that environment. And I think when you DM someone that you don't know and you've never talked to, you've never had any level of contact with, it's kind of like that. It puts them in the same position like, why is this person messaging me and what do they want? They're going to scrutinize your message, your initial message, a whole lot more simply because they don't know you. So they have nothing to work with. But if you're willing to talk to them in person first, or if you have mutual friends and your mutual friends can kind of introduce you, or at the least, you can at least comment on something that they post, whether it's a picture on Instagram or something on Snapchat, comment back and start a conversation that's public and open, then it's a lot easier for you to jump into the DM, to slide into their DMs and to start talking to them, because now they at least have some kind of context. So instead of you being the guy or girl who sent a random message to them and they're like, who is this person? What do they want? They'll say, oh, I've seen that person. I know their username. I've talked to them before. And they'll be less hesitant to respond back to you because they've had some level of interaction before. So to answer your question, I guess, how do you DM a girl you don't know? I think that if you're if you're going to DM her and you don't know her, you don't know what to say, you're really like flipping a coin. You don't know if she's going to misinterpret it or she's going to be like, oh, wow, who's this guy DMing me? So I think a safer bet is to try to find another way to interact with her first. Thank you, Dylan. Not see the chat jumped. See, I'm going to try to go back up here. Oh, here we go. Cool. Dylan, Disguised Legend. Thank you, Dylan. Hey, everyone joining in. Let me see. Let's see. I know, right? I might just watch when he posts the questions in the video. Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, also at the end of these live streams, what I tend to do is I'll put all the questions that you guys asked, I'll timestamp them in the description of the video. So basically, if you can't stay for the whole thing, or you want to see what all the questions are and stuff, you can always go in the description and it'll jump to that question. So you'll get a full overview of all the questions there. What's your favorite cheese? So I've come to really like Follow Your Heart. It's a vegan cheese. There's a few different vegan cheese brands, but Follow Your Heart is really good. Is it Follow Your Heart? I'm thinking of Chow. Chow cheese is actually really good. They have a really good vegan cheddar slice. It's like amazing. Lucky says, hi, Josh. Thanks for making great content. Thank you, Lucky. I appreciate that. Message deleted by Beast Player. Oh, what did I do? I maximized the chat. I don't want to do that. How do I minimize the chat now? Pop out chat. Oh, no. That didn't work. All right, guys, hold on 1 second. I opened up the chat and it took up the whole screen. But people are removing their own. Okay, I'm going to remove you as a moderator, Beast Player. I'll stick with DeMarco for now. I don't really know what's going on in the chat, but I'll stick with him because I know DeMarco. I talk to him sometimes, and we're really cool. So I know he's got things under control here. Okay, so where was I in the questions? By the way, if you're just joining, hit the thumbs up button. Let me know you guys supporting this chat. I'll wipe down my face for a second. Okay. See, ZV Vlog says, oh, I'll get to that in a second. Oh, where am I? Okay, cool. Let's see. Caillou, the Go animator, says, I need help in trying to, I guess, talk to my crush, get my crush to like me over text step by step. Okay, Caillou. I've done a video on this, how to talk to your crush through text. And I think the step-by-step process really is, it's a lot simpler than you think. What I think you should try doing is, first, text her something funny, right? People love conversations that start off with jokes or some level of humor. You can always text her a question or something like that. For those of you guys that don't know, I just actually published my 20 icebreaker conversations guide. So if you always feel like you run out of things to say or you don't know what's the right kind of question to ask, look up that video I have on my channel, 20 icebreaker conversations. Go check it out. Download the guide. It's free. It's a free guide I put together. And it's 20 different questions that you can ask someone to keep a conversation going if you ever kind of run into that kind of dry spell. They're like, I don't know what to say. So I would say start with something humorous or ask a question, something to just get the ball rolling so that they can respond back to you. You want to initiate and you want to start a conversation where there's a reason for the person to message you back, right? So you don't want to say something like, hey, I think you're beautiful, or just something as simple as, hey, because it doesn't lead into anything, or like, what are you doing? Because you're putting the burden on them to carry the conversation. Always start with a question or something funny to say, a joke, a comment, anything like that. So Justin says, wish I could stick around, but I guess I'll just watch the archive because I have a party to go to. No problem, Justin. Have fun at the party, man. Let's see. William Spire says, I failed my earth science exam with the 64. I don't know how I'm going to do it in August. Can I have help? I hear you, man. I had a lot of trouble with biology, chemistry, and physics. I don't know why. I enjoy learning those subjects. I just really sucked at taking tests for them. And there were definitely times where it's like I failed tests and it's like, or I failed a class and it's like, the best thing to do may be try to talk to your teacher and try to see if there's a way that you can get tutoring in the subject, or even talk to your parents and see if there's a way that you can see if there's a way that you can maybe get after school tutoring. Maybe your parents want to hire someone to teach you or to help you out work through those things. Another possibility is you can always try to form a study group with the kids in the class. Sometimes you'll pick up one piece, someone else will pick up another piece. Everyone learns differently. And when you guys come together, it might be easier learning from a group of friends that are on your level than it is from like a teacher, which feels so distant. So that might be something you want to think about, a tutor or a study group of some sort. Dylan says, Josh, do you have the skate yet? I don't know what the skate means. Oh, Samsung S8 skate. I saw S8 as skate. Do I have the S8? I don't. I have the S6 still. ZV Vlogs. Dude, good to see it, man. My channel's getting so close to 200 subs. I really appreciate it if you guys want to check it out. Yeah, guys, check out ZV Vlogs channel. He's got some really cool stuff on there. I like his channel a lot. Horror Screams says, hello, people. What's up, Horror Screams? Hey, A. Geezy says, here's a question from A. Geezy. Hey, Josh, I have a crush on someone, but I'm too scared to talk or text her. What should I do? So I think I want to do a few more videos on the idea of texting. What are good things to text? What are bad things to text? Because I think a lot of people find it easier to start a conversation through text rather than in person. And it's a lot harder. It's like you convey less of your personality when you're starting from text. So, but I understand it's easier for you to do. It makes your long-term game a little bit harder. And I think when it comes to getting past the idea of being afraid to talk to them, like I said before, I think a good thing to do is to start with some joke, start with a joke of some sort, or start by asking a question. And I think the Icebreaker Conversation Starters Guide that I have is a good baseline of questions that you can start conversations with. So Jake responded. She was very excited. I feel like it made her day. Can't wait. Jake, I'm super happy for you, man. I think you're gonna have a great time. I really gotta say. I think you guys are really gonna enjoy yourselves. Justin Doen says, Dabble Duck. It's really hot in here. Okay. Swipe down. How would you suggest I explore my options? In other words, how do you suggest I go about talking to girls in general when we have nothing or very little in common? So that's a good, interesting point, Justin. I think initially you may feel like you have nothing in common because maybe you don't know the girls that well yet, right? So, yes, you may not like the same movies or the same music, or you may have different hobbies. All that stuff may be different, but maybe you guys share commonalities in other areas that you don't know about. Maybe you both are very family-oriented people. Maybe you both like nature. Maybe you both like to relax and hang out at home. Try to learn a little bit more about the girl or whatever girl you're speaking to. Learn a little bit more about her specific personality. What's her day-to-day like? How does she enjoy spending her time? Does she really like school? Does she have a favorite subject? People in general have something in common with one another. Like I've met people that, I'm a huge wrestling fan, right? WWE wrestling fan. Anyone else here a wrestling fan and surprised that Jason Jordan is Kurt Angle's son? Leave that in the comments. We got to talk about that. But yeah, I think, you generally feel like, okay, I have nothing in common with this person, but it really is a matter of exploring and learning a little bit more about the personality, and you'll find something that you guys have in common. I can guarantee it. Let's see. Horror Scream says, I asked this girl, I asked out, I guess, this girl I liked, but like 3 weeks later, I knew she started to like me, Josh. Okay. but it's summer and I cannot see her again. Okay, so I hear what you're saying on that. Things were kind of leading up before school ended, and then boom, summer hits, and it's like, yeah, I'm not going to see you for the next few months. See ya. That's the worst. It sucks. But here's the thing. It's possible you guys may be able to pick up where you last left off when the school year begins. It's going to be a little bit more difficult because she's been focusing on her summer and enjoying herself and doing a million things. So, she probably hasn't been thinking as much about, oh my God, things were clicking with us. So you may have to jump in and go twice as hard now to rebuild what you had with her. But you at least have a baseline for it. So when you start school again, you can jump right into flirting with her and talking to her, and even just ask her out from the beginning. Say, hey, let's hang out one day. I want to hear all about your summer and everything you did. Guys, just so you know, FYI, when you go back to school, that is like the perfect opener for a conversation. Hey, how was your summer? I want to hear all about it. What are you doing on Friday? Let's go hang out, get some food, and tell me all about your summer. It's the perfect opener because everyone did something over the summer. Even if their summer sucked, it still could be an interesting conversation to have. And plus, sharing what you did over the summer is a great thing to do too. So take that note, guys. As we have our summer sit down here, take note of that simply talking about summer is a great opener, a great conversation topic. Let's see. Logan says, how do you stop yourself from being hungry all the time? That's an interesting question, Logan. What I would say is if you feel like you're hungry all the time, it's probably because you're not eating maybe big enough or calorie dense enough meals. What I would suggest doing is try to add things that are a little bit more caloric to your diet. Maybe if you're having oatmeal, add some chia seeds on there or fruit and things like that. If you are eating, let's say, mashed potatoes, maybe put some greens in there, put some vegetables in there to make it a little bit more hearty. If you feel like you're always hungry, then you might just need to eat a little bit more, but make sure you're eating good foods and not junk foods, right? Don't dip into chips and pretzels and candy and all that stuff just to fill your cravings, because you're going to be going on a path you may not like. So, okay. Mario Rodriguez says, how often should I text a friend that I like during the summer? That's a good question, Mario. How often should you text a friend that you like during the summer? Well, let me think about that. Honestly, what I would say is that, like I said, during the summer, people are kind of in their own world, right? You're away from school. You don't really see each other as much. So you kind of just focus on doing your own thing. So you kind of lose a little bit of the connection that you have with the people that you see day to day. And it becomes a little bit easier to just kind of be like, oh, I'm just going to focus on my own thing. So how often should you text? Well, what I would say is this. I think that you can always text maybe once a week or twice a week or something like that. And just it's less about how often you should text and more about the quality and the length of conversations that you guys have. So you can text her every single day or text your friend every single day and say, hey, what's up? And after the 7th or 8th day, it's going to get kind of boring. Or you can text them once or twice a week and send them a picture of something that you're doing that's fun. Or you can shoot them a message and ask them a question and say, hey, have you ever been swimming in the river? You ever swam in a river before? You ever, biked 20 miles? Like, you can ask all these different questions, but just drop them in randomly, maybe once or twice a week, and get a conversation going. It's better to have deeper conversations less sporadically than it is to have shallow conversations that are very common, right? So aim for deeper, longer conversations that you feel a little bit more fulfilled from, rather than, hey, how you doing, every single day. So Justin followed up and he said, also, I met a girl on conference for a club at my school. I have her snap streak and streak with her. How would you suggest handling my feelings for her? She lives in Cali and I live in Texas, by the way. So this is going to be a little tough, man. Justin, I think with the situation like that, which is long distance, it can be very hard to kind of maintain something that you guys can keep going, right? So because you're in Cali and she's in Cali and you're over in Texas, it's like you have to ask yourself realistically, how often will you see her? Will it be as much as you want it to be? Or will it be kind of like once every 6 months or something like that? It might be better off for you guys to just remain as friends that talk maybe more so than you normally would, because if you try to set expectations for yourself of maintaining a relationship when you guys are long distance and you really will only see each other once in a while at the conference, then I think it's going to be harder to keep that relationship going. Daniel says, Josh, do you speak Spanish? To answer in Spanish, no. No, I don't speak Spanish. I understand a little bit of Spanish, but I don't really speak it that well. A Geezy follows up. How should you approach a girl during first day of class? That's a good question, A Geezy. That's a video that's on my list. How to approach someone on the first day of school type of setting. I think a great way to go about it, like I said, it's when you're in class, right? Turn to the person sitting next to you, or before you go into class, if you're both walking in together, or even if you're just in the hallway, you can always ask them, hey, how was your summer? Or, like, are you excited to come back to school? The answer will probably be no. And then you could turn it into a joke. But asking them about themselves, what did they do over the summer? Did they have fun? Did they accomplish any goals? Did they read any interesting books or watch any interesting movies? Asking these questions will help you get a better understanding and just immediately kickstart a connection with them right as soon as the school year begins. So Caillou says, I need help in trying to get my crush to like me over text so she can be my girlfriend. Caillou. So I'm going to do, like I said before, I'm going to do a little more videos on texting. I think that's a common topic that people need me to cover. Water. And I think, I mean, like I said, I gave you a few tips on that. So if you guys have more specific questions about the texting thing, I'll dive into that. When I take a test, I'm absolutely remembering facts. Help, please. Yeah, I mean, everyone has a different way of learning, right? Some people can like visually see something and then memorize, and it's implanted in their, like imprinted in their brain. Some people, it's a little bit more difficult. If you feel like it's tough for you to remember facts, maybe the best thing to do is, Charlie, for you, probably to form a study group, because in doing a study group, you can bounce answers back and forth. You can bounce questions back and forth off of your friends versus you trying to think about it on your own. And it's a lot easier when you're bouncing things back and forth off of friends, because you get in the habit of A equals B, A equals B, A equals B, rather than trying to memorize it yourself. It's like if I gave you a script to memorize for, let's say, an acting scene, it's a lot easier to memorize your lines if you're practicing with someone else than just sitting and trying to only get your lines. So it might behoove you, interesting word, behoove you to try to form a study group. I think that might be better for you. Let's see. Turtle Gamer says, how to increase your relationship during the summer? So Turtle Gamer, I'm going to assume this is your situation where you're in a relationship currently, but you don't really know how to make it like something more special, or to make it lively, or to invest more into it, because the summer kind of maybe pulls you guys apart. I'm totally interpreting your question, so if I'm wrong, correct me, definitely. But it sounds to me like that might be the angle that you're going with. I think if you're in that situation, the best thing you can do if you don't see the person you're in a relationship with because it's summer is to Skype call with them, have FaceTime, send them messages, post comments, like interact with them. An interesting thing that people just don't they overlook a lot is, like, if you come across a funny picture, tag that person in it. People always love being tagged, not always, but for the most part, people enjoy being tagged by their partners in funny pictures, because it's like, oh, they were thinking about me and they sent me something funny. So that's always a good thing. I apologize if I look like a sweaty mess, but I am a sweaty mess right now. It's really hot in here. But that's what I would say, to do that. Tag them in pictures, send them messages, have FaceTime chat with them, FaceTime chats with them. That'll help you guys really, really, the more that you interact and stuff, the less you'll feel like, oh, there's such a distance between us. Okay. Dr. Fedora says, I don't have feelings for my girlfriend no more. What do I do? That's an interesting question, Dr. Fedora. There's a few reasons why that might be the case. It's possible that you don't have feelings anymore because you guys just kind of have grown in different directions, right? That's always a possibility. Maybe as time went on, you got to know a little bit more about her and you're like, we kind of just really are different people. If it's a matter of you've gotten bored of the relationship, then that might mean that you two are not investing enough time with each other, or you're not investing enough into it to be with each other. So, I mean, the decision is ultimately up to you, but I would say try to ask her to hang out more, try to spend more time with her. So you can really say, you can really confirm or deny how you feel. So it's like, if you're like, I don't know if I really like her anymore. You can either hang out with her more to say, I don't really like her anymore, but now that I've been hanging out with her more, I actually do like her. Or you might say, now that I've been hanging out with her more, I really don't like her. And if that's the case, the best thing to do is to tell her, listen, I don't have feelings anymore in this relationship, and I think we might just be better off going our own separate ways. It's a tough thing to do. It's a sucky thing to do, but it's the most fair thing to do for yourself and for them. Let's see. How do I get a girlfriend in 5 minutes by Horror Scream? That's a quick time frame, man. I don't know about that. The chat jumped again. I'm trying to scroll up, guys, to see. Okay, I think we're back on track. Okay, here's a good question. Hola, soy Alejandro says, what should I expect my junior year of high school? Okay. So let me dish out what at least my junior year experience was sort of like. When I was in high school and junior year, that was the toughest year in terms of schoolwork, right? I took a lot of the specialized tests. I don't know if that's just a New York thing, but took a lot of the specialized tests. The workload just seemed a little bit more intense. There was a lot more essay writing and stuff. But so that's the downside of it. I feel like the schoolwork is going to be a little bit more challenging, right? As you're in junior year, it's going to happen. Your schoolwork is going to get a little bit more challenging as time goes on. The fun part about it is the fact that this is your third year around, man. Like, this school back and forth. You've worked in your friends, you've done things. You have a little bit more seniority. And you're not a senior yet, but you have a little bit more seniority than you would freshmen and sophomores. Freshmen are they're new to the game. They have to learn the process. Sophomores, it's like, okay, they're getting it. By junior year, you've kind of got things locked down. Senior year is kind of like Super Saiyan 4 status, but like, junior year, you pretty much got things under control. It's just the workload's going to be a little bit harder. So that's something at least I think that you should probably expect and plan for. And plus you're getting older, you might start, and junior year too, I think people start thinking about what colleges they may want to start going to. So you're going to have to balance that. What do I want to do when I graduate? And all right, how do I balance my school workload? So you're going to have a few things on your plate, but like I said, you won't have to worry about navigating through school. So that's a load off your mind, I would say. Okay, next question. Dr. Fedoras says, this is Beast Player responding. Dr. Fedoras, do something really exhilarating and high energy with them. It will increase attraction. Yep, I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. By the way, I love that you guys are answering each other. I feel like that's awesome. Like I said, this is a community where we all communicate and work together. So I'm happy that we can all kind of interact with each other. Gamers World says, what do I do if the girl that I like is one of my closest friends? Should I ask her out or stay really close friends? And how? That's a good question, man. So there's a girl that you like and you guys already have a friendship, but you might be afraid that by approaching a relationship with her, you might potentially be losing the friendship. I think I get where you're coming from on that. So you're at this crossroads where it's like, well, do I risk losing this person as my friend, or do I just kind of hide my feelings and never say anything? It's a tough one to ask, man. I think you need to ask yourself this specific question. Are you okay with the idea of seeing that person that you like get another boyfriend, talk to you about other guys, not be romantic with you? Are you okay with those things? If you feel like being in those situations where you're going to see them with another person is going to make you feel sad or angry or worthless, then I don't think you should maintain that friendship. I think you should probably move forward, ask them out, and see where things go. It's better to attempt and try and do what aligns with how you feel rather than to hide your feelings, all for the idea of not losing them as a friend. I think your feelings here might mean a little bit more to you, and I think it's important to go with them. So I would say ask them out and see where things go from there. How can you continue to talk? Epic Cupcake says, how can you continue to talk and hold a conversation with your girlfriend? That's a good question. I think a good way, like I said, there could be times where you guys run out of things to say and it's like, what do we talk about? And it really comes down to trying to learn a little bit more about them as a person. So I mentioned earlier my 20 icebreaker conversation starters guide. And I think that's a key there. It's like you have 20 different topics that you can pull from to start a conversation. And once you start the conversation, dig a little deeper, Here's an example. Let's say you ask them, what's your favorite animal? And they say something like, I love lions, right? I love lions. You can always ask something like, oh, have you ever seen Lion King? Is that your favorite movie? Or have you ever seen a lion in person? Or, would you ever want to travel to the jungles to see lions? You can always ask deeper questions to really learn a little bit more about them. So I think that's a good way to hold the conversation by asking them deeper questions. Keith Van Winkle says, so I like two girls. One I like more and one is easier to get. What should I do? Keith, isn't that always the case? One is always the one that you like more and the other one seems to be a little bit more practical, right? seems to always be the case, I think, when someone likes two people. That's a tough question. Honestly, my initial instinct is to tell you to go for the one that you like more, even though it might be a little bit more work and it might be more challenging. If you feel like if you go for the one that is a little bit more easier, but you're still going to maintain the same feelings for the other one, then I say go for the one that you like. That would be my final answer on that. Okay. So Ricochet Kabamba says, how to be less clingy. I'm very clingy to people, and it only leads to pain as people let go of me. I hear you on that, Ricochet. Sometimes, like, you know, you make friends or you attach yourself to someone and you feel like, oh, this is going to be perfect. And then you realize, hey, they have their own lives, they have their own interests, and they may not want to spend enough time with me. I think what it comes down to is it's a matter of practicing self-love, right? Loving yourself enough to know, hey, if someone else loves themselves as much as I love myself too, then it's okay if they don't want to spend time with me. They can do their own thing and I can do my own thing. And feeling, well, there's a baby crying outside. You can feel comfortable with the idea of not always having to be with people. Sometimes I know some people who are extroverts really gain their sense of energy from being around people. They love being around people. They love interacting with people. And that's totally normal. You know, it's totally fine to feel that way. But sometimes you have to also accept the idea that, hey, some people like their own personal time or they like to do things on their own. And it doesn't mean that I'm a bad person or I'm not fun to hang out with. It simply means that they enjoy their own alone time, just like you enjoy your own alone time. And that's something you have to kind of wrap your head around a little bit and realize, rather than jumping to feelings of like, oh, how dare they not hang out with me, or they're rude, or they don't care about me, or no one loves me. Getting away from those negative thoughts and really diving deep into, well, they probably just really appreciate their alone time as much as I appreciate my alone time, and really getting into that mindset. Let's see, Charlie, I apologize if there's lag. I don't know why there's a lot of lag. Really wish there wasn't a lot of lag. Apologize for that, guys. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So it's Jake. It's Jake Music has a response to Hola, soy Alejandro. It's not as different as any other year. It's just you take standardized tests. Yeah. You know, that's basically what it comes down to. It's, you know, schoolwork may vary, but the standardized testing is really what the annoying part. Okay. Unproductive games. How do I stop having really low self-esteem and self-confidence? So unproductive games. I didn't answer this one before it. By the way, like I said, anyone here who has a question and it's much, much later in the chat, if you want to boost your question up to the top and have me answer it immediately, you can always use the super chat function. It's the little $ right next to where the comment section is, where you guys are commenting. If you click on that, you could donate $1, $2, $5, whatever it is. And your question will appear front and center, and I'll answer it immediately. I'll give you a dedicated amount of time because I prioritize super chats. But anyway, so how do you deal with you know, having really low self-esteem and self-confidence? I think what it comes down to is you need to spend time doing things you really love by yourself, right? So if you really love learning, maybe it's a matter of dedicating an hour every week and say, I'm going to sit and read, and that's going to be time for me. If it's you love nature, maybe say, I'm going to take an hour every week and go for a walk, and that's time for me. Dedicating time to yourself and doing something in that time that you really love is allowing yourself to say, I feel confident in my ability to make a decision for myself. You're not relying on anyone else to tell you what to do. You're not relying on anyone else for your entertainment or your fun. You're simply doing something you want to do. And I think that's the first step you can take towards rebuilding your self-esteem and self-confidence. So Yandu Poppin says, how to talk to girls at the gym. So that's a tough one. I mean, when I think about it, I remember when I used to go to the gym, I used to work out and go to the gym a lot. I didn't really want to talk to people there. And, you know, and I feel like that might be the same kind of case with a lot of other people too. I think if you see a girl working out at the gym and she's like in the zone doing her thing, I would let her be, man. I wouldn't like interrupt her workout. No one really wants their workout interrupted. The only time I would say that you can probably talk to them is in passing, maybe like you're both going to the same machine and you're like, oh, cool. What are you working on today? Or at the end, let's say when you're both wrapping up, you can say, oh, where are you heading? I'm heading back home. You know, where are you off to? You can ask those questions, but while you're in the gym, I would probably leave them alone. KQ Lee says, do you play any games? Not really. I used to play Super Smash Brothers all the time, but I haven't really played anything in a while. Let's see. Santiago asks, Santiago Alvarez de Araya says, hey, Josh, I've been talking to this girl through text over the summer. We both like each other. What should I focus on in transitioning back to school? We were going out in the last 2 weeks. Oh, you've been going out since the last 2 weeks of school, I think is what you're saying. So you've been talking to this girl through text over the summer and you both like each other. Okay, so all right, here's the thing. If you guys are doing the talking now during the summer, then clearly asking her to hang out is your first, I would say should be your first priority when you get back to school. Once you see her in school, talk to her a little bit more and say, hey, how about we hang out and catch up for real, like in person? Jump right into it. You know, especially if you both like each other, she may just be waiting for you to ask her out. So I would say totally go for it, man. It sounds like everything's aligning for you. Horror of Screams asks, I like this girl and this weirdo almost licked her hand. Is that good because he liked her? But I think she likes me more. I think I pointed her foot at me, touched me in the last day of school. Okay, so I don't think licking a girl's hand is an indication to her that, oh, wow, this guy licked my hand. He's a pretty cool guy. I don't think they're linked. Horror of Screams, I think that if you do like this girl and you feel like this other guy is also kind of competing with you for that, at the end of the day, talk to her, ask her to hang out, and just spend more time with her. That's really the key. If you start spending more time with her, it doesn't matter if this guy like grabs her hand and licks her. You may still have a better experience with her. Let's see. These players responding to unproductive games, work out if you can, groom yourself, give yourself positive messages every day. Absolutely, absolutely. Dedicating time to yourself to improve your physical, mental, and health. Work on all those different areas of your life. And I think if you tackle them one by one, then you can really start working towards being your best self. Thomas Dolan says, how do I have confidence to talk to my crush and maybe meet up over the summer if I won't see her for a while? She's a year older than me. Thomas, I hear where you're coming from on that. You know, making time for someone during the summer, I mean, like when you know you won't see someone for a while, it could be hard to kind of maintain some kind of relationship. I think that's what probably a lot of you guys are going through is we're having this summer sit down. I'm sure a lot of you guys are like, yeah, you know, it's tough to talk to this person because what do I talk to them about, right? So in terms of talking to your crush and the fact that she's a year older than you, so that might make you feel like, okay, it's even harder to talk to her because we're in totally different grades and that's totally, you know, weird. What do I do about it? I think what it really would come down to then is when you go back to school, like, so here's what I've been saying. I said in a few other videos too. I think the summertime is the perfect time to really work on yourself, right? To really build up your skills of interacting with people, of reading and learning and digesting things and exercising and doing all these things so that you can really come back to school like feeling good, looking good, being ready to talk about fun things. You want to be that fun guy that people can interact with when you go back to school. Like you want to be that person. And I think the best way to go about that is to really spend some time honing down your skills and really working on yourself. Let's see. Why are my messages getting deleted? Turtle Gamer, I don't know. DeMarco's the only mod. He says that, I don't know, I'm not deleting them. So I don't think anything should get deleted from here on out. I don't know. Ethan Torivio. Hey, Ethan, how's it going, man? Good to see you in here. My friend wants to tell you a question. He has issues. No problem, Ethan. Tell your friend to ask a question. Jump in. Okay. Let's see. Ryan. Hey, Ryan. Good to see you in here, man. Hey, Josh. If I talk to this girl over summer, will that make us closer? Absolutely, Ryan. I think that the more you interact with the girl, the more you talk to a girl, especially if you just ask them how their summer's going, the closer they'll feel to you. They'll feel like, hey, this person shows genuine interest in my life, and they actually are interested in hearing what I have to say. So, you know, whenever you take the time out to hear someone, to really listen to someone, I think that they always appreciate it in some way. You know, like we all want to be heard, right? No one wants to be ignored. We all feel like our lives are valuable and our experiences are important. So it's like if you take the time to listen to someone else's experience, then that is going to go very far. Let's see. Always love the live streams, K Drew. Yeah, K Drew, I love doing live streams. I love talking to you guys. Love answering questions. We have a lot of fun here. Josh, you look dope. I think what he means to say is I look sweaty. Let's see. Kyla Loves Cats says, hi, Josh. Thanks for being like an older sibling figure for us. I'm finally together with my crush. Kyla, thank you so much. And I'm super happy you're finally together with your crush. Awesome stuff. I'm super proud of you. Yeah, in some ways I do feel like kind of maybe like an older brother to a lot of you guys. You know, I want you guys to kind of see me like that. Someone you can just talk to, and there's no judgment here. It's all about being open and honest. It's like when you try things and they work, that's awesome. When you try things and they fail, okay, we'll learn together. I'll help you guys learn. And I think that's what this is all about. Like this summer sit down exactly is exactly that. It's really just, let's share what's going on in our summers. Let's talk to each other, you know? I know a lot of other YouTubers kind of do their live streams and it's like, oh, we're going to review things and stuff. But I really want to hear from you guys. I feel like these live streams are for you guys, and they're for you guys to fill me in on what's going on. Help me steer the ship, guys. Let me know what kind of videos you need on my channel and you need me to talk about, because that's really what this comes down to. Okay, Charlie Ledyard says, how do you get along with people on a group project when they just annoy you? Charlie, that is a wonderful, wonderful question. I definitely want to do a video on that. How to work with people in a group when they annoy you. Because I did a video called how to deal with annoying people, but a group project is a different level of annoying, because you know, there are people who don't do their full share of work. There are people who, you know, who are like very bossy or maybe very demanding. It's like, it's tough to get all different types of personalities together to work together, especially if you guys don't know each other that well. So the best way to kind of navigate those situations is to try your best to delegate roles, right? So to delegate roles, you can tell someone, okay, look, you're going to check in on, are we up to task doing what we have to do? You know, I'm going to try to maybe write more of the work. You're going to focus on getting pictures or doing research. Try to give everyone roles and see if they're comfortable with doing that. Maybe sometimes breaking up the tasks is a little easier. That may require you to kind of take charge in the group, but it's like, if you don't want to be a victim of the annoyingness, then you have to kind of control it a little bit. And I think that's, you know, not control it in a bossy way, control it in a way that everyone feels proud of the role that they're taking. So I'm going to do a video on that and go a little bit deeper on that, but that's generally what I would say. Official Robloxia says, how do you broadcast live? I think if you go into your YouTube channel, you go into the back end and you go to live streaming or video. Yeah, you go to live streaming and you should be able to set up an event or just jump on live right there. Okay, cool. Next thing. What's up, Jake? It's Jake Music says, can you give me tips on to talk? Dale Jr. fan 88 says, can you give me tips to talk to my crush when I have anxiety? That's a good question. I think when you feel anxious around your crush or just talking to someone that you like, the anxiety that comes about is partially not knowing what to say and partially feeling like you might get rejected, right? And maybe there's other elements, but those are sometimes the main elements there. You don't know what to say, so you might just choke up or you might get rejected. And I think a good way to kind of work past both of those fears is to prepare yourself with things to say. So I mentioned, again, my 20 icebreaker conversation starters. I apologize if I said it 1,000 times here, but I think everyone should download and read it. Oh, that's a light. I'm like, what is that? What was I going? Oh, yeah. So preparing things to say. So like, if you have questions that you can ask them to prepare yourself, then I think that'll make it a little easier for you to carry the conversation and keep it going forward. So let's say you ask them how their summer went and they just say, it was good. You can always ask something deeper and say, oh, cool. Did you travel anywhere? Did you spend time with any of your family or friends? You can ask deeper questions to try to get an answer out of them. So that should help with that level of anxiety. The other level is dealing with the rejection part of it, right? Let's say you say, hey, how's it going? And they go, no. Let's say they're as blunt as that and as blunt to you as that. What it comes down to is recognizing it's like not everyone's personality is going to match up, and not everyone knows. You got to understand this too, guys. When people reject you in a rude way, that simply means that they don't know how to communicate in a way that's not rude. They don't know how to do that. That's really what it comes down to. If a person's like, oh, you're disgusting, you're a jerk, or you're not cool enough, they don't know how to communicate. They lack that skill. So that's not a problem with you for getting rejected. It's a problem with them for not knowing how to talk to people in a nice enough way. So that's why I'm always talking about, like, if you're going to reject someone, be as kind as you can be. They clearly aren't doing it. So if that's what you feel you're anxious about and they respond to you in a rude way, just remember they don't know how. They don't know how to be kind. And that's something they're suffering with, really. Let's see. Jump to the next one. Unproductive games. How do I stop having low self-esteem? Okay, so I answered that question earlier. Let's see. Horror Scream says, then 2 weeks later, I knew she secretly liked me. She kept calling me a weirdo. Is that normal, Josh? It's possible she might be joking around and flirting with you a little bit, but I'm not really sure. I don't know. Let's see. Noel says, how do you get a girl if you're awkward next to her? Yeah, Noel, so I kind of touched on those two things. I think it comes down to not running out of things, feeling the fear of running out of things to say, and then the fear of being rejected. And if you can equip yourself for both of those situations, I think you'll get over that awkwardness. The Beast Player says, Horror Screams, if she's calling you a weirdo in a serious tone, she's not worth your time. Yep, I agree with you on that, Beast Player. ZV Vlogs, this Kurt Angle, Jason Jordan storyline. I finally got to the Kurt Angle, Jason Jordan storyline. Yeah, it's pretty weird. I don't know where they're going with it. I have no clue, but we'll see. I have a feeling the fans are gonna hate it, and then they're gonna reveal like Jason Jordan turns heel and he's like, I'm not your son, it was a lie, and something stupid like that. We'll see. Okay. William the Awesome says, what do you do? When do you think is the best time to go after your crush? Like what grade? That's a good question, William. What's the best grade to kind of approach your crush? I think the best time to do it, I mean, look, you can approach your crush in the 5th or 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, college. You can approach your crush in any grade. What it really comes down to is asking yourself, what is it that you want out of a relationship? So let's say you're younger. Let's say you're in the 5th grade or 6th grade. A relationship and what it means to you in that age might be different from a relationship in the 11th or 12th grade. So if you're younger and the relationship is for you guys that are younger, then maybe it's more of a friendship. Maybe it's more hanging out and talking about video games and sending each other messages and filling each other in on your day. If you're a teenager, let's say you're in the 11th or 12th grade, I don't know, 10th grade, whatever you want to be, maybe your relationship is more going out to dinner together, sending each other romantic texts, being a little bit more physically intimate, maybe holding hands, kissing, all that type of stuff. You can go after your crush at any grade or any age that you feel comfortable doing it. Just understand what your idea of a relationship means. Let's see. Okay, cool. So we got another question here from Gamers World. What do I do if the girl I like is one of my closest friends? Should I ask her out or should I stay as really close friends? All right, so I answered that earlier. My solid advice would be to ask her out, man, because no one ever wants to sit in the friend zone and say like, oh, I just can't be with her, but I'll stay her friend so I don't lose her. I'm gonna go off on a little bit of a rant here. So this is something that I've definitely done, but I think it's the wrong way to approach it. A lot of people, tell me if you're in this situation, guys. Leave your comments and let me know if you're in this type of situation. You're in a situation when you like someone and you guys are okay friends, and you know that if you ask them out, you'll lose them completely. So instead of trying and seeing where things go, you just kind of take the safe road and say, yeah, I'm just never going to say anything, because any little interaction with them is good enough for you. It's not great. It doesn't make you feel that happy, but it's good enough and you don't want to lose it, you know? It's like, to me, it's a losing hand. What you're really doing is you're sacrificing the potential for what could be something great, or even just the idea of moving on, which can be great. You're sacrificing that for just little increments of, oh, she said hi to me and that's enough. I don't need to do anything more. I think you're wasting your time. I think you're wasting your energy and your life with it. I think what you really should focus on is going after the people that you really like and want to get to know better. So don't be that person who just settles for a half-assed version of what could be a relationship. Let's see. Yeah, so Beast Player said, responding to William, any grade will work as long as both of you feel comfortable and your parents are okay with it. Yep, totally agree, Beast Player. I'm with you on that. Let's see. Avoid sugar, makes you feel hungry, more irritable. Yep, totally agree. I realize I'm way behind on the comments now, because some of the comments that the responses you guys are giving are from like, oh, a long time ago. So like I said, if anyone else wants to boost their question, I'm going through them one by one. If you want to boost your question to the top, you can always use the super chat function. It's a little $sign where the comment section is, and your question will pop up front and center, and I'll answer it. Otherwise, let's keep moving forward. But I'm loving this. I love talking to you guys. I always say this, and I never end up doing, but I got to do more live streams. I feel like I got to jump on here more often and talk to you guys. Like, this is the bread and butter. This is where it is. All right. Do you guys feel it? I feel it right now. Let's see. ZV Vlogs says, hey, Josh, how can I balance YouTube and school? I take YouTube very seriously, but I also want to do well in school. I hear you on that, man. It's, it's not easy sometimes because YouTube is very time consuming. It's a lot of work. For those of you guys who don't know, it's a lot of work to make videos. It's a lot of work to put things together and to edit them and to upload them and to promote them. It's a lot of steps to it. I think a good way so DV Vlogs, this is something I want to start doing, is batch recording, right? When you batch record, it's pretty much you write out like 3 different ideas and you record all at once. Versus like recording one video, okay, then a few days later recording another video, okay. If you record them back to back, it makes it easier then because you could sit down and edit them whenever you need to, and then you're always ahead. So I think that might be a simple tip for kind of moving a little bit ahead of your schedule. And so let's say you have a test coming up next week. You can try to record your episodes maybe a week before and get a few done so that you don't have to record anything that week coming up. I would say that might be a good strategy to try to work it out. So William the Awesome says, I can't find the right time to get my crush's phone number. Can you help me with that? William, the right time is anytime, right? It all comes down to making plans with your crush and asking for your phone number as part of that, I would say, right? So a good way to do that would be like, hey, what's a movie that's out now? I don't even know what's out now. Whatever movie's out right now. Say, hey, have you heard about this movie? You want to go check it out? Let me get your number. I'll text you and we'll make plans to go see it. That might be a good way to work in. Or like, do you know they opened up a new pizza place around the corner from school? Let me get your number. I'll text you and we'll find a day where we can go together. Take the asking for the number part and weave it into plans. I feel like that's a smooth way because then they'll give you their phone number and say, okay, cool, he's gonna text me because of this. And you have a reason to talk now. So official Robloxia says, I've been having anxiety attacks for days, Josh. Can you tell me how to stop it? Okay. Anxiety attacks can be triggered by a lot of different things. Part of it might just be overwhelming stress. And that's something I know a lot of you guys deal with, right? Like if you deal with stress, leave it in the comments because I know we can help each other out here. I know that, sorry, yawning. Okay. When it comes to managing stress, which can trigger all these different anxiety attacks, it really comes down to taking some time for yourself every single day. And I mean every single day, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, doesn't matter. Take time for yourself every single day. Let me do a little sweat wipe down here. And just relax. Don't do anything. Don't think about anything. Don't say, okay, I have 10 minutes. Let me watch videos or let me read a book. Just say, hey, let me take 10 minutes to just sit here and maybe drink a glass of water and just breathe. Focus on breathing. Just be in that moment. I think that'll definitely help you kind of work through managing the anxiety if you took that time out every single day. Otherwise, if you feel like the anxiety attacks are happening and they're out of your control, the best thing to do might be to talk to your parents and see if they can have you see a therapist that can kind of figure out what maybe are other tips and things you can do to work through your anxiety. So Hussein says, hey, how do I begin to talk to my crush? We stopped talking. Okay, so you started interacting with them and things kind of fell off and flatlined, and now it's like, we don't talk anymore. How do I kind of get this going again? If that's the case with you, I think the best thing to do would be to, best thing to do in that case would really be to shoot them a message, right? And say, hey, you can pick anything. You could say, hey, I was walking down the street and you popped into my head for some reason. What have you been up to? I feel like we haven't talked in a while. I feel like that's a great way to just kind of lead into a conversation. It's like, hey, for some reason you popped into my mind. I don't know why, but they're never going to say, well, why did I pop in your mind? They'll just assume, oh, okay, I popped into your head. And now you can say, what have you been up to? I feel like we haven't talked in forever. Fill me in on your life. And boom, now you can go back and talking to them. So Polly Bloom says, I'm working out this summer. Awesome, Polly Bloom. Super proud of you. Let's see. So David AVS says, your opinion on friends with benefits. So I think friends with benefits can work if both people are obviously on board and understand what they're getting themselves into. Part of the reasons why friends with benefits don't work is because one person may start to have more romantic feelings and they may not be open and honest with it along the way. So, both people may start thinking, oh, whatever, we're just going to have fun and that's that. And then along the way, someone's like, well, actually, I'm starting to like them. And they never say anything until it ends up blowing up in their faces. That's generally why friends with benefits can kind of like capsize, but it can totally work if both people understand, hey, look, we're just in it to have fun. Maybe you guys hang out and date in between other people you're dating. You can have your own system with it. So Turtle Gamer says, what kind of jokes should I use with my girlfriend? Turtle Gamer, you can use any kind of jokes. I think sometimes joking around and teasing people can be fun. Like you can come up with a nickname for her and call her the nickname. You can maybe gloat and have fun and be like, I'm the coolest, and have her be like, you're not that cool, and be like, I'm the coolest. Anything silly and fun like that. It's just a matter of creating a good vibe, and you can create a good vibe by saying something that's just totally ridiculous, but having fun with it, and then seeing how she reciprocates. Let's see, Official Roblox says, Josh, I have something to say. Sure, say it in the chat here, and I'll get to it. Let's see. Okay, Young Boy says, hey, Josh, I'm an incoming high school freshman. I'm not really sure how this will go, but do you have any good tips, making friends, etc.? Yeah, definitely. I think, so I did a video a while back called How to Be the New Kid in School, and I think this goes out to anyone that's going to be a freshman in middle school or high school or even college of any extent. You're starting in a new environment, right? Like you're entering this new school. It's like it's all going to be brand new and different. You're going to have to learn the ropes, that part of it. But what this also is, and this is why I'm actually a little envious of people who are freshmen. Young Boy 1959, I'm a little envious of you. When people are freshmen, they have the opportunity to create their surrounding however they want it to be. Let me explain that a little bit. What I mean by that is when you first walk into school, when you first start talking to people, no one knows who you are, and they're going to take you at whatever you present to them. So if you walk into school and you start saying hey to everyone, hey, nice to meet you. Hey, you're a freshman too. Nice to meet you. You turn to the kids in your class and say, hey, nice to meet you. My name is Young Boy 1959. You start that and people start to see, oh, this kid is social and fun and he's interactive. You're going to set that tone where people are going to think of you as that. So you have the opportunity to create yourself in any way that you want. If you walk into school and you don't talk to anyone, you keep to yourself, people are going to go, oh, he's the quiet kid. So you can kind of establish new grounds here. And that's why I'm a little envious of you, because you have that opportunity, man. So that'd be my best tip in terms of making friends. Everyone's nervous and everyone's new and they don't know what to do. You're all in the same boat, right? Everyone's in the same boat. And the best way is to steer the ship. Steer the ship by introducing yourself. Turn to the kids that are sitting next to you in the class. Say, hey, my name is this. Where did you go to school before this? What did you do over the summer? Are you excited about this class? Are you nervous? Ask them these real questions and see where they stand. Okay, let's see. Jump into the next question. Okay, Charlie says, I've been feeling for about a year these weird mood swings. One day I would be happy, next day I would want to hurt myself. I don't know, it's toned down. Charlie, I hear where you're coming from on that. It's possible that, you might be experiencing some kind of hormone, imbalance, or, maybe it's what you're eating. Maybe you're not eating enough and you get cranky sometimes. It could be a number of reasons, but maybe the best thing to do is this. Try these simple things for now. Try to get enough sleep, right? So don't skimp out on sleep. Get your 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Try to eat full, whole meals and don't skip meals, right? So a lot of times people skip meals and it really makes them cranky throughout the day. So try not to skip meals whenever you can. And try to do something that's intellectually stimulating for yourself. Read books, watch educational videos on YouTube, have conversations with people. Sometimes though, when you're not learning, you can kind of resort back into this kind of like, I don't want to talk to anyone. You can get lazy with it. But learning is always challenging. So you're challenging your brain to do new things. So try those things first. If you feel like you keep having mood swings, even though you said it's toned down a little, if you feel like you keep having mood swings, it might make sense to talk to your parents. And your parents may be able to take you to a therapist so you can kind of figure out what's going on. So that's all, But I said sleep, eat healthy, and then, learn things like keep your mind active. I think that'll help. That might be short-term help. We'll see. Let's see. Okay, jumping to the next questions. David AVS says, I went out with a girlfriend of mine as friends. I went out with a girlfriend of mine after a movie and we made out right there. What should I do? What should I do? I like her, but she has a boyfriend. Oh, okay. That kind of changes the game here. So you guys made out at the movies and she has a boyfriend. This really is a decision for her to make, right? She has to decide, does she want to leave her boyfriend? Does she want to pursue a relationship with you? Was it kind of an in the moment thing? Was it a mistake? What was it all about? If it was something that she just kind of got pulled into the moment and she was like, I don't want to do that. I love my boyfriend. Then recognize that, let it be. And at the end of the day, what I think you should do is respect whatever decision she makes. If she says she wants to be with her boyfriend, respect it. It's never cool to interfere with someone's relationship, right? You would never want that to happen to you. So don't do it to someone else. That's just a common courtesy thing. But talk to her about it. Ask her where she stands. Maybe right now she's confused and she doesn't want to be with her boyfriend and she just wants to either be with you or be single. Talk to her about it and say, hey, what's going on in your mind? You know, like, where do you stand with your boyfriend? I don't want to interfere with that, but I want to know where you guys stand. And that might be a good thing to ask her so you can get an understanding. Let's see. James Rowe says, how do I get into a relationship with my crush and not be friend zoned? That's a good question, James. I think a good way to all right, here's the thing. You can't ever 100% avoid the potential of getting into the friend zone. Like any person you're going to ask out is a human being. They have their own opinions and thoughts and feelings. At the end of the day, they may just not like you. That's the end of it. They may just not like you, and that's it. You can't change that. But there are steps you can take to avoid getting into the friend zone, right? And good steps to take to avoid getting into the friend zone are be direct, right? Be open and honest about how you feel. Now, I don't mean tell your crush, hey, I like you. I mean, be open and honest, meaning be open to flirting with them and joking with them and teasing them and asking them to hang out. That's open and honest because you're showing them, hey, I want to spend time with you. You're not pretending and saying, oh, no, you're just a friend to me, but secretly I love you. Like, do you guys remember Helga from Hey Arnold, where it's like she would be so mean to Arnold and be like, Arnold, you twerp, I hate you, but then I love you. And then behind the scenes, she would do that. Helga essentially friend zoned herself because she wasn't open and honest with her friend or her feelings. And Arnold said, okay, well, she's mean to me. I only see her as a friend. I don't see her as anything more. So don't be Helga. That's what I would have to say. Being open and honest with your feelings and asking them to hang out is a big thing. A lot of times guys are friends with girls, but they never ask them to hang out. And therefore, eventually the girl starts to say, well, he's not asking me to hang out. He clearly doesn't like me, so we're just friends. And you don't want it to just fall into that level. So, okay, cool. That was a fun question. So Callie Axel says, Josh, can you tell me good ways to talk to a foreign girl I just met? She is French. She is also going back to France soon. That's a good question. So I did a video on my channel called how to break the language, how to deal with the language barrier. And I talk, my friend talks more so about how to communicate with someone that speaks a different language. Now, even if you guys can't directly talk, there's still tons of ways you guys can communicate with each other and interact, and people kind of overlook them. But, you know, you can motion to things. You can, you know, there's a lot of physical activity that you can do to kind of establish a connection. So you can smile at her and smile back and be like, you know, I like you, you know, like basic things like I like you, you're fun, you're exciting, and convey that with your body language so that she sees, oh, okay, you know, people can read other people's body language that way. And if she's going back to France soon, don't expect too much from it. You know, enjoy it for what it is. Try to talk to her as best as you can and see if you can get her to hang out. Invite her, say, come, you know, we'll go this way and go do that. And see if you could just spend time with her. That'd be probably the best thing. Unproductive Games wants to know, why are girls in middle school so shallow? So here's the thing, unproductive games. It's not so much that girls in middle school are shallow. It's that I think anyone in the middle school age range, they're learning who they are. And I think in learning who you are and who you want to be, part of that comes from mimicking what you see other people do, right? So it's like, what does cool mean? Well, cool is whatever older kids are doing, right? In some ways, it's like, oh, you know, like, I don't care about boys. Boys are stupid because maybe in middle school, they don't know how to interact with boys yet. And they see the older girls kind of have this I don't care attitude and they assume it. So it's not so much that girls are shallow, it's that girls are, and boys too, are kind of mimicking what they see on TV and on YouTube and in person. So if there's a girl that kind of is maybe being rude to you or unkind, recognize that she's still in the process of learning who she is, and she doesn't quite know yet. What's your opinion on net neutrality? That's an interesting question. I don't like the idea of the internet kind of being monitored and the internet being limited in any way. I feel like this is right now I'm just kind of scrolling up to get where we are in the chat because it jumped again. Let's see. Okay, I'm just going to start here. But in terms of net neutrality, what I basically say to that is that I don't like the idea of companies kind of limiting our internet and controlling the speeds and controlling what we have access to. I think that it's a level of infringement on freedom of speech to a degree. We should be able to look for things, to find things, and like no company should kind of monitor what we choose to do with our time and what we choose to look at and how we choose to spend our internet. It's our internet, and we should be able to do what we wish with it. Okay, so I'm going to jump in here. I apologize if I missed some of the questions, but the chat jumped and it won't let me go up anymore. Are you single, dude? L. Lolite asks. L. Lolite, I'm not. I'm currently engaged, and I will be getting married on August 27th. So I'm still thinking about if I'm going to live stream or figure something out with that here, but we'll figure that out when the time comes. But no, I'm not single. Let's see. Tree Hugger wants to know, I'm about to start college. How can I make new friends? So Tree Hugger, I totally get where you're coming from. I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier. I think a good way to start making friends when you're in and you're not in high school, when you're starting college is, so one mistake that I made was that when I started college, I said, all right, I'm just going to keep to myself, and I just played on my computer all the time. But everyone that's starting college is in the same boat as you. They're there for the first time. They're trying to figure out what they want to do with their lives. And that's a good conversation starter. Like, hey, what classes are you taking? What do you want to be when you graduate? What degree do you want to pursue? Like, asking these questions could just start fun conversations with people, and especially people in your classes. In that first week of school, is like the perfect week to start talking to people, because no one's settled in yet. So everyone's open to the idea of meeting someone new. So I think that in terms of making new friends, start with that question. Hey, what classes are you taking? What kind of degree are you aiming to get? What do you want to do when you graduate? Let's see. Okay, Red X has a question here. Hey, Josh, I know you did a fashion video a while back, but could you do another one because it could really help out some of your subscribers? Sure thing, Red X. Yeah. I mean, I could talk a little bit about fashion. I'm really not a fashion guy. I think I'm a pretty plain and simple guy. Maybe some of you guys like a plain and simple look, but yeah, definitely that's something I do want to talk about. If you do want fashion advice, you can always look up a channel called Alpha M. I'm sure a lot of you guys have already seen it. Alpha M has tons of stuff on stylish, cool, trendy fashion. I'm more of a plain guy. How to have a good, simple look with just basic stuff. But yeah, I'll definitely do something on that. Let's see. Unproductive Game says, I search online and it says that if you dream of running away in fear slowly you lack self-confidence and you don't love yourself. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I read a book by Sigmund Freud called Interpretation of Dreams years ago, but I don't really remember much from it. It's Jake Music wants to know, Josh, how do you make the first move? That's a very good question. You may run into this type of situation where it's like, okay, we're talking, we're getting along. How do I lead into a kiss or something like that, right? Take it from me, I've had a lot of opportunities and I've messed a lot of them up. And what I've learned from the times that did work, or just pieced together, if I did this, it would have actually worked, is that what you want to do is create a situation where the two of you can kind of be sitting or be walking or be interacting with each other, right? Your focus is on each other, whether it's conversation or whatever it is. And then in that conversation, you want to just kind of maintain eye contact and let things kind of slowly die down, right? So like, instead of like, oh, we're talking, and oh, you're responding, we're talking, going back and forth, talking a lot, let the conversation kind of die down a little bit. If you're walking, let's say, let the conversation kind of die down and start to slow your pace. and just turn and keep that level of eye contact. And just eventually, both of you will be standing there not saying anything, or sitting there not saying anything. But you're maintaining eye contact and no one's saying anything. And there's kind of this silence. It may feel awkward, but it's just silence in that moment. And I think that's when you can lean in and go for it, right? A lot of guys, a lot of people think, oh, I need to say something smooth like, yeah, I want to kiss you now, or anything like that. But I don't think that's the best way to go about it, because what you're doing is you're calling attention to the moment, and that can make it awkward. So sometimes just being in the moment and letting it happen is the least possible awkward thing that you can do. So I think that's how you go for the first move. Let the moment kind of fall into silence, maintain that level of eye contact, and then move in for it. Now, if the person doesn't want to do it, they'll pull away, or let's say, oh, I'm not ready or anything. And you say, hey, look, that's cool. Some other time. And then we keep moving forward, and maybe you do it later in the night if you guys are still vibing, or just on another day. So watching an ad, thank you, DeMarco. I appreciate that. Let's see. Let's get to some more questions. But guys, yeah, if you're enjoying this live stream, definitely hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already. And let me do a quick wipe down here. And if you have a question that I haven't got to, or I probably might not get to, right? And you really, really want to ask me, you guys can always do the super chat function. Because with the super chat, it kind of puts it right in front of my face, and it shows me, hey, look, this person wants to ask a question, and I always answer super chat functions. Top priority, I get to your question first. Another way you guys can reach out to me here, I'm just opening up here, is I'm going to share it on screen. You can always, right now, if you want to screenshot, I'll post for you guys. Screenshot this. And if it's not blurry, I hope it's not blurry, but it should maybe work. And you can always add me over on Snapchat. And I'm always posting daily on Snapchat. Same thing with Instagram. I'm posting every single day. I just started a new podcast. If you guys don't know about Anchor, let me show you guys quickly here. Anchor is pretty much where I'm doing podcasting. I'm answering your guys' questions every single day. This is my Anchor podcast. And basically, it's a Q&A podcast for teens. So people call in and they leave a voice message, and then I feature it on the channel and I answer your guys' questions. I've been doing it for a few days now. It's been so much fun. It's another way to interact with the guys if you have questions to ask me. So there's a lot of ways to reach out to me. But if you want to get my attention right now, that's what the super chat's for. Let's see. Kimiko Kisiragi says, how can I study well? That's a good question, Kimiko. I think a good way to go into studying is really dedicating a set amount of time to do it, right? People say like, all right, I'm going to study for the next 5 hours. It's incredibly hard to keep your level of attention for 5 hours. So I would say, let me study for 30 minutes right now, take a 20-minute break, then come back to studying in 30 minutes. Setting specific times to study is definitely going to increase your chances of actually doing it. And a good way to stay focused is break your time down to smaller times and do smaller increments, because then you'll be able to focus rather than say, okay, I'm going to get through 100 pages of material in the next 10 hours, because it's not as practical. Kimiko says, good to know you prioritize money. Well, it's not so much that I prioritize the money part. It's that if people are willing to donate for a super chat, then I feel like they're willing to donate to support the channel. Then I feel like, okay, well, their question pops up. I feel like, okay, let me respond back. I think that's the most kindest thing I could do, right? Otherwise, I'm trying to get through the chat one by one. How do I do super chat? It's just a little $ by the comments. You don't have to if you don't want to. Like I said, you guys can reach out to me on Snapchat or Instagram or Anchor or anywhere, even in the live chat here. But if you want to get your question now, that's how you do it. All right, enough about super chat. Next question. How do I get close to a Dennis? Mr. Daj says, how do I get close to a girl I've known for 2 years but never truly talked to? It's a good question, Dennis. If you've known her for 2 years and you never talked to her, you might run into a situation where she might only see you as a friend, right? So it's like, if you've known the girl and it's like you two never really talk, she may think, oh, Dennis isn't really into me, so I don't worry about that. That might be the situation that you're in. I think in a case like that, though, what you really want to do is this. It's like, if you haven't seen her for a while, that might actually work to your advantage. What you want to do is that the next time you see her, you want her to see you as a different person. You want her to see you as someone that's like, hey, who's this guy? This guy's totally different. He's fun. He's interesting. He's exciting. And that may not be the type of personality you were giving off before. So if you want her to see that level of you, then I think what you got to do is you got to learn new things, try new things. I would say this is a bit of a trick. Start talking and interacting with totally new people you see on the street, people you see in a restaurant, people you see anywhere. Get in the conversation, get in the habit of having conversations with random people, because the more you practice those on-the-spot social skills, the easier it'll be for you to do that with the girl you barely see and you haven't seen, you know for 2 years. You want it to see that you're interacting and working like a different person now. You're functioning like someone who's very interesting and into it, so she can go, wow, he's a totally different guy, and I like this new guy. Let's see. James Rowe says, how do I get in a relationship with my crush and not get friend zoned? I'm in middle school. That's a good question, James. I've kind of touched on a few of those topics tonight, and what I would just say, just to quickly answer that one, is if you want to get into a relationship without getting friend zoned, you need to show your crush that that you're interested in them as a person, and that you're a fun and exciting person. And like I said, at the end of the day, they may choose to not go out with you, and that's their personal choice. But the best thing you can do is present to them a level of yourself that is a level inside of yourself that is confident, that is open to learning, and that is interactive with them. Let's see. Okay, Tristan Throws says, hey, Josh, I like this girl, but I don't really know her. How should I approach her? That's a good question, Tristan. If you like someone that you don't really know, it can always be like, how do I start a conversation with this person? I never interact with them. I think the key there might be something as simple as introducing yourself and asking a question, right? Now, a lot of people make things a little bit more complex, and they say, well, I have to say the right thing, or I have to say something funny, or she has to really like me. None of that. All she needs to do is know that you exist, and then know that you're interested in learning about her, right? And then from there, you can carry it wherever you need to go. You could simply say, hey, my name is Tristan. What's your name? What do you like to do for fun? What are some of your hobbies? You seem like an interesting person. Tell me something about yourself. You can always start a conversation like that and get the ball rolling. Okay. Kay Drew says, hey, Josh, how do I talk to a girl who I started talking to a few years back, but never really talked to her again? We're both going to the same high school. Okay, Kay Drew, I hear where you're coming from on that. So it's kind of like they are back in the picture after disappearing for so long. This kind of ties back to what I was saying before, is that what you want that person to do is see you in a whole different light, to see the new you. That's why I said the purpose of, I think, this summer, and I want you guys to use your last few weeks of summer to do this, guys. Promise me you'll do this. Really challenge yourself. Start exercising, start reading more, start learning more, start interacting with more people. Do everything you can to do those steps, because when you go back to school, you'll be coming back with a new level of energy. And that new level of energy is what you're going to use to talk to your crush, to feel confident, to do better in school. It's really building yourself up this summer. It's like, I'm going to use this reference. I don't know if everyone's going to get it. Some people might get it. Think about Goku, right? And you're doing a spirit bomb. You're holding the spirit bomb. And you're gathering the energy of the universe in your hands, right? You're pulling in energy from all these sources of the universe. And when you get to school, that's when you're going to launch your spirit bomb, metaphorically. And you're going to show people, hey, look, guys, I'm open, I'm fun, I'm interesting. But right now it's all about building that energy up. Okay, jump to the next one. Ricochet says, there's a girl I really like, but she likes someone who I hate. He doesn't like her back, and I want to go for it, but he's the opposite of me in terms of personality. Is there hope? Yes, I do think there's hope. Even though he's the opposite of you and you really, really hate him, if he doesn't like her back, then it doesn't matter how much she likes him. If he doesn't like her back, then he doesn't like her back. And that creates a window of opportunity for you, because what you now can do is you can interact with her and you can talk to her regardless of what this other guy is like, regardless of who this other person is. I would focus on that. Like, you're focusing, I think, a lot of attention on him when you really should be focusing on her, right? Focus on getting to know her. If she even mentions the other guy, say, yeah, okay, he's fine. But anyway, tell me about yourself. And bring the conversation back to you two. As far as you're concerned, you two exist, and he's just there. So don't spend too much time thinking about, him and saying, oh my God, but what if this, what if he this, he's not there. It's between you two. So Voaz says, a lot of times I can't do one thing without doing another, like eating dinner and not watching TV or YouTube. It feels like I'm wasting time and I want to get out of that mindset. I hear you on that. A lot of people do that. I do that all the time. I don't think it's a good behavior, because what you're not doing is you're not in the moment. You're in several moments. And when you're in several moments, you appreciate each one a little bit less. You know what I mean? Like if you're eating and watching a show, you're not fully invested in your show, and you're not fully invested in eating. You're not paying attention to your meal, savoring every bite, and you're not looking at what every character is saying and doing and understanding the plot. You're not really fully there. I think a good way to kind of get out of that habit would be to separate watching a show and eating, for example, right? So it might be something as simple as when you're gonna eat, watch a few videos before you eat, and then just put the phone away or turn off the TV and eat. Like do whatever you're gonna watch before you eat at one point, and then sit and eat. And while you're sitting and eating, this is gonna be a challenge for you. What I want you to do is I want you to act as if every new bite is the first bite you're taking of your meal, right? You know, that first bite is always the best bite, where it's like, I'm going to enjoy the taste of this. Act as if every bite you take is the first bite of your meal, meaning you pick up your spoon of cereal, well, it's saying you take a bite, you taste it. This tastes the cereal. I taste the milk. I taste this. I taste that. Take another bite and do the same thing. Be in that moment and separate the two, right? Watch your YouTube videos and your TV shows before or after you eat. Try to do that. I know it's tough, but try to do that. We all do it. If it's a habit you guys want to kick, then try the little technique. Let's see. It's Dialarno says, hey, Josh, all my friends hate the girl I like. Well, love a lot. Hate the girl I like. Well, love a lot for 2 years, but I don't want to fall out with them. Do I go in for the move, or do I stick with what my friends? Okay. So it sounds to me like you like someone and your friends don't like them, and you're kind of caught in between two worlds, where it's like, do I choose between my friends or the person that I like? I personally believe you shouldn't have to choose between either, unless there's a real solid reason why they don't like each other. And in most cases, there's generally not. Like sometimes the friends will say, oh, she's a jerk, or the girl will be like, sorry about that. The girl will be like, oh, they're immature. And it's this kind of very soft reason. It's like no one like killed anyone's cat or anything like that. If it's more of a softer reason, like, oh, I don't like him because this, I would say you shouldn't have to choose between both of them. You should be able to spend time with your friends and spend time with the girl that you like. And let's say things start to pick up between you and the girl that you like. You have to explain to your friends, look, guys, I know you don't like her, but I am close with her, and I hope as my friends you guys can give her a chance and try to look deeper to see who she is as a person. You may have to bridge the two together, but you shouldn't have to choose between the two, because that's just not fair. Let's see. Unproductive Game says, hey, I'm playing French horn in an orchestra with people 3 years older than me, and I've gone to state band 2 years in a row, meaning I was selected as one of the best players in the state of Washington. That's awesome, dude. That's really cool. French horn is not an easy instrument to play, so kudos to you. Let's see. David Avis says, I have friends with benefits relationship, but I caught feelings for the girl even though she has a boyfriend now. What do I do? Okay. So if she has I'm assuming she got the boyfriend while you guys are doing friends with benefits, and now it's kind of separate, but now you like her. Is more than that. Honestly, I mean, like friends with benefits is a short-term play. It's not a long-term play, right? Like eventually they're going to find someone that they do like more and want to pursue a relationship with. And eventually the friends with benefits is going to come to an end. So it seems like that might be the case here. It might be coming to an end between the two of you. I think honestly, there isn't much you can do. If she's in a relationship, if she has a boyfriend and she's happy now, the best thing you can do is just respect it and be happy for her. I know that may not be the answer you want to hear, but I think it's the best kind of answer you can have here. Ethan Sawyer, hey man, good to see you again. Hey, I've fallen out of your addiction talk yesterday. Sorry, I'm ashamed. Dude, totally fine. Look, anything we talk about, it's like, it isn't so much like do this, and if you don't do this, you fail. Everything is about learning and growing, and everything is small steps. So it's like if you try something and you fail, that's okay. You either win or you learn. There is no losing as long as you're learning from the experience. So Ethan, don't beat yourself up about it, dude. It really comes down to, okay, you messed up today. All right, tomorrow's a new day. Dude, take a shower, start fresh, get your mind in the right spot, and boom, do your best to stick to your goals, man. And if you fail again, that's okay. Tomorrow's a new day. Every day, incremental steps. Keep practicing it until you get it, man. How do you make the first move, Eduardo? That's a good question. I answered that a little bit earlier. I think the best way to go for it, I'll give you the quick synopsis version, is when you're walking and talking with them, allow the conversation to fall silent, meaning, oh, we're having a conversation, and then eventually you just stop, but you keep maintaining eye contact with them. You keep looking at them, you smile, and eventually they'll stop talking. You're both kind of standing around and it's silent. And that's when you kind of lean in and go for the kiss. I think that's the best opportunity to do it. Sorry about that. That is, I think, the best way to kind of go into it, because a lot of people want to like say something suave and cool and look cool, but I think you're much better off allowing it to flow naturally than you are like saying something and going for it. Joshua Hurwitz says, my name is Josh too. Awesome, dude. Josh's unite. Let's see. DeMarco says, I don't have a big bro. So Josh is technically a big bro. DeMarco, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Happy to be here and talk to you, man. Happy we can communicate and be open with each other about that. See, Rosa says, Josh, my friends have boyfriends and I think I'm losing my best friend. I hear you on that. So Rosa, this is a video that I definitely want to do a topic on, the idea of what do you do when your friend gets into a relationship and you're alone, or, you know, or your friend gets into a relationship. So me and my friends used to call this like the boyfriend trap when we were younger. And it's like any girls that we were friends with, once they got boyfriends, they just stopped hanging out with us. And we're like, why don't they ever hang out anymore? We realized they're always hanging out with their boyfriends. That's why. And there's nothing wrong with that. If people want to spend more time with their boyfriends or girlfriends, that's okay. You're not in the wrong for wanting to do that. But I think what happens is that it's important to communicate with your friends how you feel. They may feel differently. They may feel like, what are you talking about? I make time for you. But it's important to just try to keep that open dialogue. I know it feels like you're losing a best friend. And look, who knows that if they do break up, your friend might come back to you. But be open and accepting of them, and understand that everyone's on their own road of learning, and she may just not realize that she's cutting out her friends slowly. Okay, so Papa Z Dog says, hey Josh, so my girlfriend wants to take things slower. On my part of that, what should I do? Okay, so I think you got your answer there, man. If your girl wants to take things slower, I think the best thing for you to do is to be respectful of that, right? I know you may feel like, but I want to like do more. But if she's not ready, the last thing you'd ever want to do is push her and force her into a situation where she doesn't feel comfortable, because it won't be enjoyable for her. And once you realize it's not enjoyable for her and she regrets it, you're going to feel regretful too. You don't want to create that scenario. So the best thing you can do in that situation really is take things as they go and talk to her about it. You're already in a relationship with her, meaning you guys have the opportunity to communicate and talk to each other. And that's where that's where your strength is going to lie. If you go for something, say, hey, is it okay if I do this? Or you're comfortable with this? And in communicating with her, that may allow her to feel more comfortable with you moving forward, because she knows she can trust you. And building that trust is essential to a strong relationship. Cool, man. Let's see. Qualpo says, do you value wealth or love more? I definitely would say I value love more than wealth. But I think what you're defining as wealth is probably more so riches, I guess money and stuff like that. What I would really define as wealth, I mean, so in my definition of wealth, I don't really value either more, but I view wealth as coming from a place where you have a solid structure around you, meaning you have people, friends you can talk to, you have family members you can count on, you build a relationship for yourself with a partner that you feel comfortable with, you feel financially secure to whatever degree that means, but you feel like, okay, I've got my life sorted out a little bit, and I feel wealthy in that sense. I have things that are beyond like material things. They're really things that allow you to function as a person and stay sane in some way. But if we're just talking about material wealth, then definitely love over material wealth. Okay, cool. On to the next one. Josh late with these comments. Yeah, I think I'm just lagging behind the chat here. I'm going to try to move a little quicker. Okay. Let's see. Ryan C says, hey, Josh, if I ask out a girl to hang out over the summer, is it similar to like asking her out on the date? because they're probably not going to be other friends that hang out there beside you. Yeah, so if you're asking her to hang out one-on-one, it could be perceived as a date. If you don't want it to be perceived as a date, then tell her straight up. Say, hey, look, you want to hang out as just friends. Make that clear if you don't want it to be a date. Okay. Let's see. James Rowe says, my crush is trying to start a conversation with me a lot. Does that, and usually it involves her laughing a lot. Does that mean she likes me? It's possible, James. It's hard to tell sometimes if people are starting conversations or smiling or making eye contact with you a lot. It's hard to tell if they're doing it because they're just interested in you as a person, or if they like you. So not really sure about that. But if you like her, then I think you know what to do here. What it really comes down to is you approaching her, you talking to her, you starting the conversation with her. Okay, let's see. Jonathan Sum wants to know how to add your crush on social media without seeming to be creepy. So Jonathan, the best way is to avoid the creepiness factor is to let the person know that you're going to add them on social media, right? That's probably the best, safest way to not be a creep. If you somehow secretly find their social media and message them or add them, then they may be like, how did he find me? This is kind of weird. But if you talk to them and say, hey, cool, what's your Snapchat? What's your Twitter? They may be way more responsive to that. So I'm going to do another cheap plug for Snapchat here, guys. Speaking of Snapchat, if you are on Snapchat, you guys can always add me on here. Boom. Screenshot that so you can add me on Snapchat. Okay, just another cheap plug. I see 4 people from here add me on. I'm going to say hi to you guys. I'm going to post something on here a little after the chat. Let's go. How to approach a girl if you like things like anime and video games. OMN wants to know. So OMN, there are girls out there that do love anime and love video games. It isn't a boy only. They aren't boy only topics. You might find more boys that generally like it, but that doesn't mean they're boy only topics. If they are things you like talking about, here's the thing. If you have very specific interests in stuff, you have to recognize other people have specific interests as well. So the best thing you can do in those scenarios is learn a little bit more about their interest and then teach them about your interests, right? So if you interact with a girl and you're like, hey, so what do you like to do for fun? And she's like, I don't know, I like to program. Let's say she loves to program and you're like, I like to play video games and she likes to learn about coding. Geez. Those are the boats leaving the dock. Anyway, let's say she likes to learn about coding and you like to learn about, you like video games. You can always learn from her. What do you like about coding? Teach me a little about it and teach her a little about video games. So be open to learning and open to sharing. And I think that's how you form a genuine connection with someone, even if you have totally different interests. Let's see. Yeah, so Beast Player is saying adding someone on social media is never creepy, don't worry. Yeah, I mean, the only time it can maybe come up creepy is if they have a private profile or it's not shared and you somehow get it from someone, then I can see, but otherwise it's not creepy. Social media is kind of, especially if it's public, it's out in the open. People want followers, people want to interact, so don't be too afraid about it, I would say. I freaking love anime, Trunks says that. Let's see. Ken Kaneki says, how to approach a girl being a genius and awkward? That's a good question. Are you the genius and awkward? Or is she the genius and awkward? I'm assuming, okay, you're approaching her, so you're the genius and you're awkward. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, like I know there's a lot of you guys out there that doing things like making eye contact or starting conversations, these things can be difficult. Like I'm saying, oh, just do this as if it's easy. It's not always that easy. Light is very glaring now. It's not always that easy. Don't get me wrong. Let me turn off one of these lights. Hold on. Let's see if this makes a difference. Boom. It's a little too dark. A little too bright. All right, we'll just work without it. Okay. So, yeah, so it's not always as easy to just, no, I'll just turn it on. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. It's not always as simple as, oh, just make eye contact, start conversations. Don't get me wrong on that. It's, you know, what I would honestly say is that work within your level of comfort. If you feel like starting conversation with someone's going to feel kind of awkward and you're not going to know what to say. I think the best thing to do in that scenario is start with an icebreaker, right? Like I talked about my icebreaker conversation starters guide. I'll make sure to put that in the cards when I put up this video, but when this video publishes, but start with a conversation starter, which is already a kind of a question that you can just throw into a conversation to approach a girl with. So you may approach a girl and say something like, hey, how's it going? You look like an interesting person. What do you like to do for fun? And that might be a conversation starter, like, hey, use this question and go with it. If you feel like you're a genius and awkward to run into situations like that. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, so Polly Bloom is saying there's a lot of girls that like video games and anime, man. Yep, dude, there are tons and tons of girls. I know there's a lot of girls that watch this channel that are huge video gamers, huge gamers. So you're not alone. Ricochet says, I've been diagnosed with ADHD I've been diagnosed with ADHD and I told my mom that it was concerning as I'm 14 and they're usually diagnosed when they are like 7 and 9. Scared that my mom won't be ashamed of me. Okay. So Ricochet, I want you to know this first and foremost. There's nothing at all to be ashamed about. Having ADHD doesn't make you any worse or lesser than anyone else. It's just something that you have. I mean, we all have different things. Some of us have chronic diseases. Some of us have need more help with mental health. Some of us, physically aren't capable of doing things. Some of us emotionally aren't capable. We all have different levels of being, right? And no one's sense of being is better than anyone else's sense of being. So when it comes to talking to your mom about your ADHD and opening up to her about it, she may respond in a multitude of ways. She may be loving and accepting. She may also be fearful or scared. She may feel bad or nervous or angry. She's going to have her own emotions because she's a person too, right? We all have emotions. We're all people. But it's important to let her know that you still love her and you hope that she can still love you too. And if you let her know that, no matter what her response is, she's going to navigate back to the center and realize, no matter what, I love you because you're my child. So let her know that you love her and you want her love back, regardless of whatever happens, okay? Let's see. Prank Nick says, how do I be funnier? That's a good question. I think a good way to be funnier is humor is something that you can definitely work on by being more observant of situations, right? Like a lot of good humor comes from catching situations and seeing things that happen. If someone says something, if someone does something, make a joke about it. If something happens in the media, make a joke about it. Like get in the habit of being keen and paying attention to what's going on. So Shake Music responded here to Ricochet. Don't be ashamed. ADHD is common. I have epilepsy and a heart defect, and I have trouble dealing with it. But your identity, don't worry, own it. Yes, it's Shake Music. Boom. It's 100% the truth right there. It's like, we all have different things that we're working through, right? We're all human. We all have our own experiences, but own it, man. If it's a part of you, it's a part of you, but it doesn't make you any lesser of a person, dude. I think if anything, it makes you stronger because you now know how to deal with something that the majority of people don't even have a clue about. So let's see. Polly Bloom says, go to an anime convention. You'll see many attractive girls. That is 100% true. I go to Comic-Con and I see tons of beautiful girls dressed up in costumes every year. Let's see. Serial Bridge wants to know, how can I deal with depression by playing a game? So sometimes video games can help you kind of focus your attention on the game and pull away from the depression. But I think sometimes too, video games can kind of like get your mind going crazy. Like, oh my God, I'm just doing a million things in the game. I feel like if you're feeling depressed, look, I'm not saying video games is not a good escape. It can be a wonderful escape. I would say maybe try to focus more on soothing activities. So if it is, maybe take a warm shower, go to sleep early that night, read a book, listen to some music, something that's a little bit more passive. Video games are very active. You're playing them. You have to do things in them. Something that's active. You could just lie down, relax, close your eyes, and just be in that moment. Try those techniques out and see if that helps. Why are my comments deleting? I don't get why, DeMarco, as far as I see, you're the only mod in here, so I don't think anyone else should be able to delete comments. Let's see. Okay, jump to the next question. How do I break up with my girlfriend? HRB123 wants to know. So HRB123, I did a video in this called, actually I did how to reject someone. But if you want to break up with your girlfriend, the first thing to do is to ask yourself, have you tried everything you can to make the relationship something of value, right? Do you want to break up with her just because you're bored and you want to move on? Or do you want to break up with her because you just don't get along with her and you guys don't connect as well? Really discover what your reason is, understand your why, and then when it comes to breaking up with her, I would say be honest and open and say, look, I don't think we really connect as well anymore, and I think it's probably best if we move on. So Ryan says, God, yes, stress is not my best friend. Yeah, man, stress is no one's best friend. I realize I'm way behind on the chat. I think DeMarco was right. Let's see. Dark Soul says, your stream was just glitching for me and you sounded squeaky and pixely. Well, that's not good. Hey, Josh, came back from the administrator container. Being serious, your Snapchat video tips are amazing. They totally work. Thanks a lot, pal. Dan DJG said that. Yep, guys, like I said, follow me over on Snapchat. I give daily goals every single day. I'll show you guys here. This is my daily calendar. Every day has a new goal. I mean, this every day has a new quote. And from that quote, I think deeply and I say, okay, what's a good goal that can match up with this quote in some way? And I post that over on Snapchat and my Instagram stories. So you can follow me over on Instagram or Snapchat and see those every day. But yeah. Let's see, Pete Madrona says, hey, Josh, I got rejected by the woman I love for an entire year and more. I can't really stop how I feel. Is rejection the end for whatever chances I have with her? I mean, you loved her for a year. You can't stop if there's rejection in the end for whatever chances I have with her. It really all depends on whether or not you're willing to approach her and talk to her. If you feel like you just don't have it in you, then yeah, I mean, the end is the end, dude. But if you're open to talking to her and moving forward, like a lot of times guys like girls, but they're very passive about it. They're like, well, I'm going to wait to see if she likes me back. Or maybe there'll be a moment where we both connect. You have to make that moment. You have to approach her. You have to talk to her. You have to ask her out. You have to make that moment happen or else it's never going to happen. Okay. A lot of stream lag. Well, that's not good. Apologize for the stream lag, guys. Let's see. OMN says, these tips from Josh's videos are great and all, but for some reason they seem so weird in context. Maybe it's because we're generally socially awkward in our country. I hear you on that, OMN. What country are you from? Because I know different countries have different perspectives of things. Poop Dog. Poop Dog wants a shout out. Poop Dog, this is your shout out to you and all the poop dogs out there. Let's see. British Aussie Lover says, what? Back to school? Summer starts on Friday. So what are you talking about? So British Aussie Lover, I'm in the US. And in the US right now, summer months are generally end of June to like beginning of September. And they vary a little bit. So in Britain, maybe it's a little different. So if you're starting summer on Friday, British Aussie Lover, you're definitely going to want to check out the videos I did maybe a month ago, which is all about school's ending. What do you do when summer begins? Don't worry, guys. I'm going to do another live stream maybe in like a month to another back to school, like an official back to school live stream too. This is more like a summer sit down. Like, let's talk about the summer. Let's talk about what's going on in your guys' lives, what your plans are. So summer ends in late August. Yes, summer ends for different people, different times. But in America, it's generally now. So let's see. Papa Z-Dog says, you are amazing. Thank you, Papa Z-Dog. I appreciate that. But all right, let's go back to the comments. Let's see. Don't use electronic devices at night if you struggle to fall asleep. That's also another good tip. You know, if you're on your phone, you have bright lights and stuff that may make it a little bit more difficult. Maybe you want to play music on the background or something, or on a TV or something like that. I use devices at night every night. Yeah, Dark Soul, I think that's a key. It's like, you know, I try, and I fail very often, but I try my best to not be in bed right before I go to sleep on my phone. And it happens all the time, but I know it's not the best thing. It's like, it's better for your eyes to relax and to get used to the darkness because it'll help you go to sleep quicker and have better sleep. All right, guys, let's see, have fun. It's some, oh, the chat jumped. I think I scrolled to the end and it jumped. Let's see where we are. So the real GJ Hook says, thank you for your advice. Have definitely helped myself. I'm sure many, many others in certain situations. Look forward to more from you. Thanks, dude. I appreciate that, man. Oh, here was £1 that was sent, but it was retracted. Right? It's retracted. I don't know how that works. All right. I'm way behind in the chat. So let's see. A lot of stream lag. Sorry for the stream lag. I don't know why there's stream lag, guys. All right, I'm just going to jump in here. So it's 7:51. We have about 9 minutes left. Here's what I want to do. I'm going to take a sip of water. I'm going to answer a few more questions. And in the last 5 minutes, I'm just going to let the chat go. I'm not going to answer them one by one. I'm going to grab questions as I see them and just answer them. So if you want your question answered 100%, guys, definitely, like in this chat right now, you always have the super chat function. It's a little $sign right next to the chat. Right where you type your comment, there should be a little $sign. You can always do that if you want. And it'll put the comment front and center in front of me, and I'll definitely get to it. So I'm going to answer for the next 4 minutes. I'm just going to go down the line. And then last 5 minutes, guys, it's free for all. I'm going to grab them as I see them. Like I said, if you're on Instagram or Snapchat, follow me at the Josh Speaks. I'm the Josh Speaks on both of those. I'm on Snapchat and Instagram, and I just started Anchor. If you guys don't know about Anchor, I'm going to do a quick little Anchor explanation here. So Anchor is an audio platform. It's a podcasting platform that I've been using, and I've been recording segments. And pretty much it's like a daily call-in show. So these are calls that people have sent me, and then I feature them on Anchor. It's like, hey, Josh, how do I talk to my crush, or what do I do about middle school, something like that. And then I respond and I give a little bit more of a lengthy answer. And it's just a fun podcast thing. So if you want to check out Anchor, download it, add me on there, Josh Speaks. If you go to the YouTuber section, I'm in there. So that's all I want to say. Anchor and Snapchat, Instagram, those are platforms I'm just like going hard on. Okay, going hard into. The first one sounded weird. Okay, I'm just going to jump from here wherever I am. Okay, Alex Martinez says, what if me and my crush look at each other's eyes when we talk and she doesn't have a boyfriend? Do I have a chance with her and we're going to middle school? So if you guys are making eye contact and you enjoy talking to each other and you feel that vibe, dude, there may totally be a chance with you guys. I would totally ask her out and see where things go. Why not? See what can happen. Okay, let's see. Josh, sleep thankfully. I'm in Eastern time. Polly Bloom's heading to the gym. All right, Polly Bloom, have fun. Let's see. Carl Gilman says, all right, you guys are having conversations. Hey, bro, check your Instagram DMs. Reese, I am behind on Instagram DMs. I'll get to them, though. All right. Okay, Noah Tech Inc. says, how do I talk to my crush in front of her parents? My family members are close to my crush's family, and I would like to know how to do it without making it awkward. That's a perfect question, Noah. I think a lot of times things can be weird when parents are there. It's like, can we interact? Is it going to be awkward? What's it going to be like? I think the best thing to do in that situation really is what you want to do is you want to have casual conversations with your crush when you're there. And then you want to ask your crush for their Snapchat or Instagram or something so you can talk a little bit more privately, right? Like you don't want to have deep and interesting flirty conversations in front of your parents. It's just awkward. So use those moments in person to be like, hey, so what do you like to do for fun? What are your hobbies? Ask them more general stuff. And then when you say, you seem like a cool person, what's your Snapchat? Then when you're talking on Snapchat, you can ask a little bit more detailed question, get to know each other. You can flirt and joke there. But you really definitely want to transition to a more private way of communication, and that might be on Snapchat or Instagram. Let's see. Hesley DP says, I'm going to the movies with her, but how should I tell her how I feel? So Hesley, I don't think you should tell a girl how you feel. I think you should show her how you feel. I did a video on this a while back, but basically what I see it come down to is this. Instead of saying, hey, I like you. Do you like me? Yes or no. Show them how you feel. Interact with them by flirting and joking. Put your arm around her. Tell her, hey, you seem like a really cool person. I really enjoy spending time with you. Saying those things will make her feel like, wow, he really likes me a lot. She'll feel like you like her rather than you having to say, I like you. And then she goes, oh, he likes me. Do I like him? I don't know. You'd rather her feel the emotions from you rather than thinking, oh, what is he like? What are you doing? Piecing it together. So definitely show her how you feel. All right, guys, we hit that 5-minute mark. I'm clicking the down arrow here. We're at the bottom. I'm just going to let the chat run. I'm going to grab them as I go. If you definitely want your question answered, the super chat's there. Alex Martinez says, oh my God, Josh read my comment. I did. Okay, here we go. View a Geek says, okay, so why is it better to communicate with your crush over Instagram or Snapchat rather than in person? Okay, so maybe I said something that maybe got a little misconstrued, but I think interacting with person is the most ideal situation and setting to do it. And the reason I think is because in person, you have the ability to physically communicate with them, right? They could see your facial expressions. They could see you in person. They can get to know you, like what you look like. So I think that's the benefit there to in person. Two, it's that you know, you can what's it called? You can build something a little bit stronger because when you're talking through text, there's always a possibility that while they're texting you, they're doing something else. So their attention might not fully be on you. When you're talking in person, generally their attention is fully on you. So you have that benefit in person. So talking on text or Snapchat or Instagram is always secondary because you're losing a lot of those elements. So I definitely think, like I said, focus on in person if you can. But to the example before where it's like if your parents are there and you can't really do things in front of the parents, then I think you might have to take it on through text. So. Okay, so Mad Jamie says, I've tried moving on. It's been 2 months and literally everything reminds me of her. She was part of my daily routine. I did everything with her. Mad Jamie, I know where you're coming from on that, man. If you're in a situation where you like someone a lot, right, and you've been with someone for a while and, you know, like you've just grown into the system of doing things together, it really comes down to now changing your daily routine, changing your lifestyle. So I don't know what your daily routine was, but it might have been something like you message her in the morning, or you guys walk together to go to school or work or something like that, or you text each other before you go to sleep at night. You may have had these little things that you guys did together. And really what it comes down to now is just changing that system. Maybe instead of texting her, maybe you do some push-ups or go for a jog. Maybe instead of walking together, you listen to a podcast or you listen to some music. Maybe instead of texting her good night before you go to bed, maybe do some more exercise or listen to something silent and calming before you go to sleep. You know, like change the routine. It's the only way that you're going to kind of get over her. Okay. Jump to the next one here. Immature Effects says, hi, Josh. Are you having a good day? Since I discovered your channel, my life has gone uphill. I got a girlfriend, a job, confidence. May God bless your soul. Immature Effects, I'm super happy and proud of you. I love knowing that you guys are working towards being your best selves. That's what this is all about. You know, the whole summer sit down idea before back to school thing really comes down to using your summer to really better yourselves. And everything is small steps. You know, guys, I say this a lot because I really mean it. I think that, you know, if you can really work towards understanding the things that you like and really discovering who you are, you really will be your best self. And it just is a matter of working to discover that. So DeMarco says, I finally accepted who I am today. Yes, DeMarco, I am proud of you, man. Dude, you work your butt off, man. You hustle hard. And for that, I got to really commend you. Work on yourself, man. Polybloom, yep. Ahmed Negam says, do girls care about looks? Thank you, Polybloom, for jumping in. Do girls care about looks? It's a really good question. I think looks are things that girls care about, but looks aren't everything, right? So looks generally have the most effect in the beginning of the interaction. So, you know, obviously when you see someone for the first time, what are you doing? You're looking at them. So you're getting in their full look. You're learning about what they look like. And that's where you start. But as you get to know their personality better, looks kind of become secondary a little bit. You know, they're still important, but they become secondary. So let's say you feel like you're not the most attractive looking person in the world. Look, we're not all attractive. I don't feel like I'm that attractive, right? But if you feel like you're a fun person to be around, you have to kind of push through the looks part to get them to see your personality and connect to your personality. Let's see. Buick Geek says, but I want to overthink about things to get worse quality sleep. Well, if that's the case, then that's the case, man. I wanted to fill you guys in on this. This is the video that's probably coming out next Tuesday. So I was adamantly against this, and I'm like, I'm never going to be one of those people. But then I did. I kept saying, I'm never going to do this, and I eventually caved. And I caved for a good reason. I caved because I said, you know what? I need to do a video on this because it is exactly what happened to me. So I went and got myself a fidget spinner, guys. I bought myself a fidget. Look how that's cool. It's spinning really fast here. It's going slow on the stream. I got myself a fidget spinner because I want to do a video on this topic where I want to do a video on this topic because the reason why I got my first girlfriend was because at the time, yo-yos were the big thing. Yo-yos were the fidget spinner at the time. And I approached her and started talking to her about yo-yos. I used yo-yos as a way to start a conversation, and eventually she became my first girlfriend. So that's why on Tuesday I'm doing a video on how to use a fidget spinner to start a conversation with a girl to be your girlfriend. That video is going to come out. It should be a fun and interesting video. Seth Blyer says, I'm unsubscribing. Well, Seth, I'll see you later. I guess he doesn't like fidget spinners. But I'll answer 2 more questions, and then I will wrap up the stream. And guys, just so you know, like I said, I'm on Instagram, right? I'm on Instagram, and after this stream, I'm going to jump on Instagram, and we're going to do I do this every time I do a video. I'm going to do my Instagram post show. So it's going to literally be a live stream after this live stream. But over on Instagram, it's a little bit more casual, a little less people, higher chance of getting your questions answered, and just a little bit more relaxing. But answer 2 more questions here. And but like I said, go follow me over on Instagram because if you follow me over there, you'll be able to definitely jump on the live stream there. And, you know, we always have a lot of fun in the Instagram live stream. You know, my page is just the Josh Speaks. You guys can go follow me over there. But okay, 2 more questions. Let me quickly answer this with DeMarco. How can I be better on Fiverr? Made a new profile today because there was a glitch. DeMarco, what it comes down to is being better on Fiverr is just being more concise in what you offer. Be more concise in what you describe things to be. And people will order and people will pay if you deliver, man. Will your family be singing karaoke again? They will be, DJ Hook. That was a lot of fun that night. Okay, Ali says, Josh, answer. I have OCD and things just get incredibly difficult as my mom is an alcoholic and my life coach who supported it with me died in a car crash. Ooh, I will get help for it, but any words of advice? Okay, Ali, so this is a real tough question here. First, I want to say my heart goes out to you, man. Like, sounds like you have a lot on your plate. So let's try to deconstruct it one by one here. So things in your life are difficult. You have OCD, right? Just like I mentioned before, if you have OCD, if you have ADHD, if you have anything that you feel may be holding you back, remember, it doesn't make you any less than anyone else. You're a human being just like me, just like anyone else. So don't ever feel like you're less of a person because you have something. And you also said that your mom is an alcoholic, right? So that's challenging. It's challenging when parents suffer too. And you may not see it like that, but parents are human beings too, right? Parents have struggles and hardships, and they may not always know what the right answer is or the right thing to do. So if your mom is an alcoholic, then chances are that she's struggling with something. She doesn't know what to do in her life to fix it, and she solves that problem with alcohol. So the best thing that you could probably do as her son is to communicate with her. She may need to know that she has someone there that she can talk to, and that might help. You'd be surprised how many times people have addictions to things, and just knowing that they can rely on people makes dealing with that addiction a little easier. So talk to your mom. I know it's not easy to do, but talk to your mom and say, hey, mom, you know, like, what's going on? Is everything okay? I'm here for you. I'm here to listen to you, and see if she's willing to open up to you. And as far as your life coach dying in a car accident, dude, I'm really sorry to hear that. It's important, guys. This is, I know this is getting deep and serious now, but it's important to remember just the simple idea that, like, no one ever knows when they're going to die. No one. And it's so, so important to remember that we have to be grateful for every single day that we're alive. If we're not grateful, we're going to pass the moment. If we don't recognize what we have, when we lose it, we're going to regret it 10 times more. So, you know, the best thing you can do is to, like I said, talk to your mom. Recognize you are somebody great. You may not feel it, but you are, man. You really are. Talk to your mom. Help her with her problems. And I think in that process, you'll be sorting yourself out. In helping someone else, you'll learn how to cope with your own issues too. So that would be my just general advice. If you want, Ali, you can always shoot me a message over on Instagram or Snapchat. DM me. Shoot me an email, thejoshspeaks@gmail.com, and tell me what's going on, man. I'm here to help in any way I can. So that was a pretty deep question, guys. I'm going to answer one more question. How tall am I? I think I'm like 6'1" or something like that. Am I Christian? No, I'm not Christian. I did a video called Do I Believe in God? And I kind of talk about my ideas of religion and religious belief and belief in God and stuff on that video. All right, let's get one more big question I'll get on here. And let's see. Okay, cool. So NetherCube says, can you give me tips on dating tips from high school? This is the third and last time I'm putting this in a chat, but I've been watching for the past 3 years and you've given me so much help. Sure. Dude, I'll give you some tips on that here. When it comes to dating in high school, what's important to remember is this. It's like you need to ask yourself, what are you capable of doing? Are you able to go out on dates with that person? Can you hang out after school? Can you guys spend your own time? Will your parents be okay with that? If you have that flexibility to kind of do stuff after school or even stuff on the weekends, that will definitely help you with dating in high school. Another thing too, do you have a way of communicating with that person? Can you talk to them on the phone? Can you text them? Can you FaceTime with them or Skype with them, whatever it is? Do you have that ability to do that? If you do, that'll definitely help with dating. So if you have all these things set up where you can date, the only question left really is, what's stopping you from asking someone out, right? Is it that you don't know who you like? You don't really like anyone? Is it that you get too nervous around your crush? If you really want to start dating in high school, what it really comes down to is start at the baseline of start talking to people. Interact with girls or guys that you want to get to know. Ask them how their summer went, learn from them, talk to them, share with them, joke with them. I mentioned earlier, I just finally published my 20 icebreaker conversation starters, and I think it's super helpful for you guys. I think you guys should definitely check it out, because at the end of the day, what's really going to matter is this. It's that, if a person can see who you are deep inside, that's how they'll really know whether or not they want to be with you, right? You can put up a shallow front, you could pretend, you could play and act cool, you could do all these things. When you really get to know someone, that's where you have that deep connection. And I personally believe it's important to have deep, deep connections with people. I know it's important sometimes you have to play the game and get to know them and flirt with them, but building a deep connection is really what's going to help you be your best self. And that's what we're all about here on this channel, guys. Okay. How old am I? I'm 29 years old. That's a simple, quick one. All right, guys. On that note, thank you so much for being part of the stream. Hit the thumbs up button. Let me know what you guys think. Leave comments here. I am going to jump on Instagram now for a little bit, just a little bit. I'm like super sweaty. I got to shower after this. But I want to jump on Instagram. I want to talk to you guys. We're going to do a quick live stream post-show. We'll talk about this one and what we could have done, what I could have done better, what worked, what didn't work. I really want to know your guys' thoughts. Was the stream laggy? Was the audio sucky? What are things I can work on and fix? I tried putting this light to get better lighting. I have a few things I got to work out, but thank you guys for being a part of this. I really appreciate it. And like I said, you have a few more weeks left or whatever you have left in your summer. Make the most of it, guys. Don't throw your time away. When school starts, you're going to have a lot of work and things to worry about, a lot of stress. Take this time now and really, really work on yourselves. All right, guys? That sound like a plan? Cool. All right, guys. I will talk to you. Got to blow my nose. Okay. I will talk to you guys soon. I'll see you on Tuesday when I have a new video. But right now, we're jumping on Instagram Live. As always, guys, love and peace. I'll see you guys next time.